check.
Crazy thing. Zoom just reminded, it was like, hey, did you know this video is being live streamed? Yes, dumbass. I just pushed the button.
Well, it let the rest of us know too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Speaking of, should you want to like share it or whatever, I'll post the link to the Zoom call in the Zoom call.
Thank you.
And you put that wherever you want. So if I was going to zoom in on Jacobite right now, where is he? Where do you find
Jacobite.
yourself?
I am leaning against the wall
Okay.
in a tavern.
Really? Okay.
I'm assuming we found a tavern occasionally, so yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So we're not going with the starting on a shipwreck angle.
We met on a ship.
Okay.
I just assume that we're, this is kind of right after we did our little leaving our
yes.
captain thing.
Right
So,
after we
Okay.
dipped.
Yeah. So we're
You bet.
either celebrating or drowning our sorrows.
You
Yeah.
bet. Does
In
that
my
mean
case,
you're all in the same space?
I would assume.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like we're probably having the what the heck do we do now
Yeah.
conversation.
I see. Nopales, tell me about this tavern. What's it look like? How big is it? Is it friendly? Is it cruel? Is the food good? Does the prices suck? I mean, how dangerous is it?
I think it's mostly like, I don't want to say the word steampunky, but maybe a little like a bunch of, assorted, poorly welded together, like parts. Like anybody from this time period would recognize it as tech, but it's just salvaged to, these like, a fender of a Chevy Impala, the good ones, not the modern ones. That type of.
You bet. Sounds good. Okay.
The food is horrible, but what else are you gonna complain? There's nothing else here.
Yeah, right. Why this tavern and not some other tavern? I mean, there's lots of float houses on the Wildsea out in places. Why this one? Proximity? Is it a favorite?
I think this is the one you might not get stabbed in.
I see. Okay. Ozetta, does anybody here know you? And by you, I mean you and the crew.
I assume we would have picked this one because no one would either they wouldn't recognize us or they're mind their own damn business kind of thing. Because if we're trying to, get away from the crew that we were just a part of, we don't really want them to find out where we are immediately.
Right. Okay, sounds good. Joaquin, tell me about, the people here. Do you have any contacts? Or did you come here because you have none?
I think we just came here because we have none. We're, like she said, we're still trying to lay low after escaping from our previous ship.
So let me get this straight. You're four members of a crew, which now you're just four members collectively, and you have no ship. And you're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the Wildsea. Okay, just making sure.
Right.
You bet. Somebody bursts through the door. His face is like still singeing. His face is literally on fire. He shrieks out a panicked scream. Everybody grabs weapons and heads outside because open flame is absolutely unacceptable. As he hits the ground, he bursts like a firebomb, setting the ground and the walls on fire. At this rate, this building will go up in flames in minutes. What do you want to do?
Get the hell out and see if we can find a ship.
Sounds good. You bet. Say, what was that? Oh,
Save the alcohol.
save the alcohol.
Yes, that too.
Yes. You bet.
Joaquin uses his extra fungal tendril to swipe another flagon of ale on their way out.
You bet. Sounds good. As you head outside, so the tavern itself is out of the way, right? It's on a floating skid. Somebody's lashed a bunch of logs together and pinned them in the roots. So it's not really land per se, but it's pretty stable. Not anymore. The roots have been cut. The entire thing is sinking. Those people that ran past you to go outside have fallen through a big hole in front of you. The good news is that you're okay. And that when the building burns down, it'll burn down into the ever roots, so they'll grow right back. The bad news is that you are sinking and you're on your own.
Well, shit.
Not again.
Yeah.
I thought we had a minute. Guess not.
What do you want to
Live in a
do?
harsh world.
At this rate, the building's going to sink down into the lower levels, and I mean, who knows what after that. There are ships passing by, but I mean, you're standing on a fireball. They're not coming to help you. No way.
Does there seem to be a ship that is sitting near us that we could even just jump onto?
So that you have two ships within relatively close distance. You have a ship out in front of you that you could run off to the end of this platform and jump and hope for the best of it. But there's been a clear, the building is sinking and ripping the Wildsea apart as it sinks. It has already taken a ship or two down with it, which is to say you can see two ships below you. You'll have to ride this thing further or jump from here. But in either case, probably a more likely outcome than jump to the ship that is you are falling away from. That one's also manned, so they may not be thrilled about it. Up to you, though. Jacobite, what do you think? You don't have all day. Building's going to explode and take you with it.
The ones that are below us are not manned. They're moored, I assume, to something that's dragging them down.
Yeah, right. They are a part of this skid of lashed together trees caught the edge of those ships, and it's literally pressing them down. So the ship isn't getting any farther away from you, but it's not going to get any closer either. Eventually, the skid will probably get caught on the bigger, denser roots of the Wildsea. Eventually, you'll stop moving, but you will probably burn up before that happens.
I vote we go for one of those, the one that's closest to the edge from getting out from under the stuff that's pressing on it.
I agree.
You bet. So you're just gonna run to the edge of the skid and jump
How far down is it?
like 100 feet.
Nope. I'm going to look for a means of ingress, whichever you want to call it.
You bet.
Egress from here, ingress to the ship.
You bet. Sounds
Is
good.
there any way, any path that we
So the
can
skid is made
sketchily
up
make.
of lashed together logs. You could
Mhm.
break them off. You could cut them. I mean, you could try and sky surf this. The occasional sailor says, he rode a log through the air. But I mean, usually you hear that story when somebody's half drunk, both who's hearing it and who's telling it. Who knows how possible that actually is. But barring something that stupid, you could use some of the rope from the lashed together logs. It's not like the logs are using it anymore. There's also an emergency skid. There's a ladder bolted to the side of the skid because sometimes ships sink near the dock. That's why they were coming. There's something bad happened and they pull in a little bit lower than they meant to. So you could take that, but I mean, you came to this out of the way bar for a reason. It's not exactly well looked after. So who knows how good that ladder is.
So we can cut some of those free and use that as a means of getting down, potentially not sky surfing the log.
But like using the rope as a
Mhm.
fireman shimmy. Yeah, you bet.
That's what I vote for. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. So this skid that we're talking about, is it the one that's below us or is it on
So
par, or on level
the
with us at this
tavern
point?
you're on is sitting on the skid. The skid is like a bunch of huge logs that have been lashed together and then
Okay.
sort of set on top of the Wildsea. Like
Okay.
a raft, really, that's been lashed in place.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Joaquin, being a Shankling, he's kind of used to running along like the treetops and along thin branches. So shimming down a rope shouldn't be too difficult for him. So he's all for that plan.
Sounds good. Roll for it.
Okay. So what am I going to roll now since this is a new system?
Let me see if I can't make sure. I should have had the thing in front of me. Here we go, dice pool. So you want to use 1d6 for whatever edge you're using. Ed, did you end up with your double and triple focus with your edge?
Double.
Okay. So you're still only going to roll 1d6, but you're going to add +1 to what you get on that d6. You can roll up to 3d6 for any skills or languages you have that you think apply to this moment. And up to 2 more if you have advantage on this for some reason.
Okay.
Since you know your characters and I don't, feel free to tell me if you have advantage.
Okay, so I have the leap skill 3 times,
Okay.
as well as the climb skill 2 times. So I feel like that would help.
You bet. Right. So I would go with 2d6 for each of those.
Right.
And what edge are you using?
That's a good question. Sorry, I've got to remind myself.
New system.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I expect the opening bit to be a little bit stiffer than going forward.
It'll take a bit to catch on, but we'll catch on. Okay.
And if you don't catch on, I'll have fun anyway.
Gotta figure out which one would be most helpful here. I feel like instinct would probably be the best one for me to use here.
Sounds good. Once everybody's got their pools, roll for it. If you're obviously the best roll mechanically, right, is a 6, unless you like Bill Murraying your way through things. If you roll a 6, you pass without any complications. If you roll a 4 or a 5, you pass, but not completely. And 1, 2, and 3s are they make things worse. I don't want to say they're bad because some people, great drama comes out of fuck ups, right?
Well, I love these new dice that I just bought because I got 3 6s and a 4.
Woo!
Nice.
So you roll doubles in there too. By all means, if you have a twist already, by all means employ it as you down the rope with no problems.
I do not. Let's see what page was set on again. 1.
What did everybody else roll?
So mine was using sharps and leap.
Okay.
So how do I define, because I get like +1, so what does that mean? Because I've got 2 sharps.
2 sharps. So you'll add plus. Where do I find that? I'm sorry.
You said something about like we have multiple edges that you can add like +1 to a dice roll, but how do I know which?
Oh, okay. So Ed chose to, as opposed to taking multiple edges, he took 1 twice.
Right.
And I didn't want that to feel like I want that to have mechanical weight. It's only,
Right.
So you'll roll the same amount of dice. You'll just get mathematical modifiers to them.
Okay. So I got a 3, 4, and a 5.
You have a total dice pool of 3?
I only have 1 leap, which you said was 2.
Right.
2 sharps.
Okay, you bet. So your highest number is a 5, you bet.
Okay.
You scale down the rope without any problems. But towards the end of it, you notice that the rope is not quite long enough. You're going to have to jump down to the rest of the ship.
Ooh, okay.
Ozetta, what'd you get?
I got double 6s.
Nice.
So I am using stealth scramble, which allows me to move through narrow spaces of wrecks and ruins. And then I'm using grace to make sure I can use the environment, and sense as well. So I can check my environment. I'm made for this.
You bet.
So I try to scramble down while also using my gelatinous type body to squeeze through little narrow edges where I can to slow myself down to get down to this skid.
You bet. As you pop through the various logs and you slither down the rope gracefully and effortlessly, right? You look badass. It's a shame that everybody else is kind of doing their own thing, so they don't really get to like bask in your glory. You drop onto the skid you drop onto the ship without any problems. Before you drop, though, you notice that the people are still here. They have green growths growing out of their eye sockets and mouth, like they have fungus just growing out of their face. But they don't, otherwise they look unharmed. Jacob, what's up?
I'm jumping with instinct and using my grappling chain.
What'd you get?
632.
Nice. So your hurdlers, you just jump, right? You whatever.
Yeah.
You jump and you do that thing in Horizon Zero Dawn where you jump, you turn backwards, and you throw the hook, and you just slide the rest of the way down. The rope's not long enough, right? So you use the hook to scale your descent down. You slow down. You
Mhm.
pull it free. You tie it onto the chain. Tie the chain to the rope with a quick lash. Same thing. You land on the deck, no problems. The crew is still here. They're standing up, but they're got fungus all over their face. Joaquin, did you come up with the twist?
I could not find the twists in the.
They're on page 161, but none of the examples in there serve this particular purpose particularly well. So while I can come up with one, I would definitely encourage the group to do that before I do it. Does anybody else have an idea for what his twist might look like?
A bag of coins falls in his hand as he's running down magically. How about
I mean,
that?
it's a tavern. Makes sense to me. You
Yeah.
bet.
Sure, that works for me.
Or a
I mean-
bottle of whiskey or something.
All four of you split the difference, right? It's that alcohol that has gold flecks in it. It's both, right? So as you're riding rope and tearing logs apart that are presumably were holding up what the tavern is sitting on. So
Mhm.
you've also torn the bottom out of it. It totally stands to reason that like it rains money, right? Like they had to have money somewhere, right? So a couple of pouches of money and lots of loose gold coins because the bag isn't in perfect shape. You a small bag of money and a whole bunch of coins clamber onto the table, clamber onto the deck with everybody else. You hit with enough force collectively, the deck cracks as a little, but I mean it's not broken. We're talking like a blemish, not a break. You watch the skid go past you and crash through the branches and vanish into the dark spaces below. And you're not alone on the ship. You got these weird looking crew people, mostly humans, with one of the ship folk whose name I'm forgetting right now.
So Joaquin doesn't say this out loud, but mentally he's thinking, man, these humans look a lot prettier with this fungus growing out of them.
That's funny. So given your respective jobs, I'm not gonna have you roll for this. But you've sunken pretty deep. You're on the lower level of the tangle right now. Lower than ships usually go. The ship looks like it's in good shape, but there's enough loose branches and jagged this and that above it that getting it back up through the branches, assuming it works, is going to be a problem. But at least you're not in any danger anymore. Now what?
I think job one is getting away from the fire as far as we can.
Yeah, I agree.
I know that we're in kind of a not smooth sailing level, but I think we need to get away from the fire.
Yes.
So the question is, do any of us know how to fly a ship or pilot a ship?
I used to be a ship, so yes.
I
Yes, I
have
do.
I have parts of a ship in me.
Yeah, would you let's start with Jacobite. Would you describe your iron-bound badass self for those who might watch this and for for everybody else? in the group?
Absolutely. Yeah, I am my soul is bound up in the remnants of a ship that the people who collectively make up my soul used to sail, fly, whatever on. I have a piece of the prow for one arm, so nice bludgeoning club. The other arm is just made up of some random pieces of the mast. I am let's just say a dark walnut color for the most part, and I've got a pale blue glow in the back of my eyes.
Nice.
Sweet.
How big are you?
Well, my torso is made of a whiskey barrel, so I'm at least that big,
Okay.
plus another 2 or 3 feet either way.
Nice. You bet. Joaquin, what do you walk us through what you look like?
So I am a Gao, which is a mushroom humanoid type creature. I have kind of a swooping shape to my head, to where it almost looks as if I have long hair that kind of comes back and curls up a bit in the back. And I have a long cloak that is almost monochromatic. It's a lot of greens and browns. Not in necessarily a camouflage pattern, but can be used for camouflage if necessary. I also have a hat with a brim around it that is kind of pulled a little low. I don't wear shoes because I don't need them. My
Bag.
just kind of cling, like kind of grow into whatever it is that I'm walking on. That's how I move.
Very
And
cool.
like I said before, I have a fun little tendril that kind of comes out from my back as a third appendage that I can use to hold whatever I need to extra if I'm running short on hands. I've got a hammer pin revolver that I keep strapped on my waist, and a long range rifle that I keep strapped to my back.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save Nepalese for last because I can't wait for that. Ozetta, what do you know?
So I am a Ketra, which is essentially a gelatinous type humanoid being. My shape is kind of held into a humanoid shape by driftwood that I have put into my body to give me a skeleton. And then I have these large black, almost insect-like eyes, and multiple tendrils on my head, like a Twi'lek that has many, many tails on their head. So I am a wonderful, like dark green color with a very brown tendrils. I am pretty short by standards. I'd say about 5'1" because I am made to go into small places.
Sounds good. And Nepalese, what do you look like?
So I look kind of like a saguaro cactus. That's the big ones, big ones from Arizona that have like the arms and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Fairly tall, and moderately skinny. He's wearing basic brown like cloak type thing. If you look very closely, there's all kinds of nicks and scars and all that stuff, probably from less than successful inventions backfiring on him. And for his eyes, he has two blossoms. Where that would be as well. And then he's wearing a tool belt, and he has kind of a rickety pistol that you would have to be insane to actually fire.
Like a Jawa gun? It blows up every other time you use it?
No, we don't know yet. We'll find out.
I see. I see. So you're saying it looks rickety, no promises whether it actually is rickety.
It could just be modified.
I see. I see. Still
Heavily.
very Jawa-y. Yeah, I like it. This is a Jawa pulse rifle. It hits like a bus, but only one time. And it hits everybody, Sounds good. So the four of you crash onto the ship. The crew is still here. They're standing up. They don't move or twitch or anything. And it's quiet down here. You've still got the general buzz of bugs and snap of branches. The Wildsea is never ever silent, but it's much quieter down here than up there. You can see the sun. You're not that far down or anything. But the branches cast long shadows across the deck. And for being in broad daylight, it's sort of creepy.
They seem to notice us as we hit the deck, or
If they do, they don't make any show of it. There's no movement whatsoever. They have their hands out and their weapons drawn, like they're either posed to fight something or they were fighting something and they just paused. They have a translucent yellow kind of like unhealthy mucus fungus all over their face that looks like it stems from their mouth and eye sockets.
So would Joaquin have any sort of knowledge about this type of fungus that would kind of help him determine what's going on, or is this something that he's never seen before?
He might. How come? Because of his species?
Yes.
Yeah, you bet. Make a roll
I
for
would
it.
assume that the fungus species would know about different funguses.
You bet. Roll, but roll with 2 dice for advantage.
Okay. I got a 2 and a 4.
You bet. So you remember that it's a relatively rare fungus and that it's bad for you, but you don't remember why.
Okay. I will relay that to the rest of the group.
So you're saying we're throwing these people off?
I didn't say that.
I'm talking to Joaquin.
I'm not saying you shouldn't, or that it's, that I'll be judge you or nothing. I'm just saying I didn't say that.
I would hesitate to actually touch them personally. There's no telling whether this will spread to you guys or not. I mean, I think I'll be fine, but
Is there anything on the deck of the ship that could assist us in hastening or said ship?
Are you asking if there's a thing on the deck you can use to clean the deck? Is that what you... Yeah, there's the crossbar, I forget the name of it, swings around on the ship. You know what I'm talking about? There's various barrels and crates that have been tacked down up here. It looks like a cargo ship. It's got 2 huge, it's actually the ship you designed, right? So I don't recall, you cut through things with it, right? It's basically a big sickle. But the top of it looks like it's been bolted down with stuff. Presumably it was going to park at the tavern and trade. Or maybe it was going to refuel and leave, who knows? Because it's a tavern, not a dry dock. It's not exactly a trade hub, but there's a lot of stuff up here. Crates twice as big as any of you are bolted to the top of the deck. And when I say bolted, I mean it. Big heavy metal bands riveted to the deck. That's weird practice. Usually you only bolt stuff to the deck for storage if you don't have any storage left in the ship.
I suppose I will try to get Jacobite's attention and see if we can get this crossbar rolling to
It's gonna bother me. I can't remember what it's called.
I can't think what it's called either. But yeah, as you put it, clean the deck.
Yeah, right. So you want to see if you can help Jacobite purge the place? Is that the idea? Jacobite, what do you think? How do you feel about just knocking all these people off the boat down to who knows where below?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think so. So the 2 of you just grab the bar and give it a mighty heave, right? Joaquin and Ozetta, what are you 2 doing?
I'm trying to figure out if I've seen this before, simply just because I did spend a lot of my time below the canopy. So is this something that I might know a little bit more about?
Yeah, go for it. Roll for it.
I don't know what I'd be rolling for this. I'd be using sharps for sure.
2 dice for advantage. 1 because it sounds. I was going to give you 1 because it's something you know, and 2 because Joaquin mentioned it, and it perhaps it might have set you in the right direction.
Okay.
Like stirred the memory in the right direction, and then you're like, oh, wait a second, maybe I have.
Okay, well, let's try this. I did get a 6.
Nice, you bet. It's yellow rot. It's bad. It doesn't affect non-organic creatures, so Jacobite could probably just pick these people up and rub it on their face and be unaffected. But ironbound are unusual, so maybe, who knows? No promises that's true, right? It's not every day you meet an ironbound who's actually tried to engage with the stuff.
Do we know if there's would I know, is there a way to cure this rather than throwing people to the depths?
Yes, if you expose them to direct sunlight for several hours without interruption, the rot will die, and they're in a coma, basically. They'll snap out of it.
Okay, so but would we know then, like you said, they said they're in a coma, would we know that they're not going to attack us?
Yes. I mean, they'll be disoriented, right? But
okay,
they'll be no more disoriented than anybody else who woke up after being knocked out.
Basically. Okay, but while they're in this state, it's not like they're going to go
no,
crazy
in this state,
like
they're
zombies on us.
harmless. No.
Okay.
No.
So as they're going to go, wait, guys, they won't hurt us. We can actually help them.
Yellow
and then
rot
maybe
is
they
incredibly
owe
dangerous.
Us.
Yeah, they might. as
were
a
gonna help
fleshly
him.
creature. Go ahead. Sorry.
We were gonna help him.
Learn to fly. Right.
Okay, fine.
What do we have to do to fix them? I can't remember. It's been too long since I've encountered this.
Well, if we can get them into sunlight for a few hours, it should die off and then they'll essentially wake up. But if we do feel the need to move them or anything, it's going to harm us, but Jacobite might be okay. It hits organic stuff. It hurts organic individuals. So Jacobite, you might actually be okay if we need to move them, but they're no threat to us unless we touch them.
Right. If you touch them, the yellow rot, in most
Will
cases, right, it'll jump from them, leaving a portion of itself behind on them to get a new victim. It will not kill them. Yellow rot is dangerous because it's a living thing, and it will hold on to them and keep them in stasis. It'll siphon up just enough of its own energy back into them, so it never runs out of food.
Joaquin's going to be kind of looking up, and he's going to say that I've always felt more comfortable up higher in the treetops anyway. So I'm okay with us possibly flying this up to the top, maybe going above the treetops for a bit. That'll give us some time to maybe do some repairs on the ship and
Maybe look through some stuff.
Yes. See what's down in the actual cargo deck since all this cargo is on top. And then also give these guys a chance to dry out and hopefully come to their senses.
Paulius, what do you think?
I'm still stuck on the thing of, well, okay, it may not hurt us now, but it could hurt us.
It absolutely could if you touch it. You bet.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm all for helping people, but also a little better safe than sorry, don't you think?
So how about this? How about we try to get the ship to the treetops, and if there's any sign where there's any kind of danger to us along the way, then we just tip the ship a little bit and tilt them off the edge.
Just tilt the ship.
I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
Sounds
We need
good.
to survive at the end of it, but
I don't even hear y'all because I'm already heading for the wheel.
Sounds good. So
man of action.
Yeah, right. One of my favorite animation teams. That's really what they're called, man of action. I'm looking for. I know it's in here somewhere. So, let me get this straight. You're going to fly the ship. What are the rest of you doing while I look at this thing in the book?
Actively avoid the crew.
Okay.
Like make extra care to avoid that crew.
Here we go.
So
You've got-
go
go ahead.
is there a sort of a crow's nest type platform on this ship?
Yes.
Then Joaquin's going to go straight up to that because
You
he's
bet.
used to getting high and he's more comfortable up there. And when he gets up there, he's going to pull out his long rifle just to kind of have it ready in case he needs to use it.
Does the long rifle? I guess does the long rifle have like a scope? Do you have a wayfinder? Do you have exceptional vision?
Yes,
Are you
I
like
actually do.
scouting?
I have the Deadeye ability, so I have exceptional sight. I also have hawk sight as well, so I can see
Nice.
for long distances, and I'm very accurate.
You bet. Then I'm not going to have you roll for this. You see a large cloud of what looks like green dust rolling in from above down onto the ship. It looks like it doesn't look like it's coming straight down, more like it's rolling in from somewhere else. Like if a cloud was kind of going like this. You recognize that. Those are buzz bugs, so-called, because they're like the loudest bug in the Wildsea. They're carnivorous. They will eat you to less than bone. They're attracted to the yellow stuff.
Okay. Do they react to any loud noises or anything?
They don't react to loud noise. They react to elements more than anything else. They very much hate the cold and lightning.
Okay, so knowing that, I'm not going to worry about being quiet about this. I'm just going to shout down to these others and let them know, hey, we got buzz bugs coming in.
Jacobite, before I ask Nepalese what he's doing, At the helm, you have three options. You can cut a path. Narratively, that means you're moving at a decent speed, but you're still like paying attention. Mechanically, that means you can see things coming without necessarily giving away your position, which is different than forge ahead, where you move fast, but chances are anything you see is going to see you too. And also, you've got the drop anchor option, which you're sort of resting in drop anchor right now. What are you thinking? Do we move fast? Do we move safe? What's the plan?
Well, having just heard about the buzz bugs
Yep.
and knowing that everything is on fire, I think we probably want to move fast. Anybody
Okay.
have any objections? Because I'm gonna start it fast, and if you don't want me to, then yell at me.
No.
On board.
Yeah.
bet.
Joaquin like gets a tighter grip on the deck that he's standing on just to brace himself.
You bet. Sounds good. No, Paulies, what are you doing as the ship takes off?
I'm looking for a way to sort of build without touching them, like something to sort of quarantine these Yellow Rock crew members so they don't go sliding around the deck or whatever. And
Okay. There's a bunch of crates that you could pry up and sort of stack around them. There's also a bundle of what looks like metal plates, that bits and bobs and like old bits of plating from a ship here and a building there. Salvage lump, basically. But you can probably whip up what amounts to a metal igloo without too much trouble. Rivet
So-
here, nail there, good to go. It's not going to be pretty and they might get bruised, but
does any of that metal happen to be magnetic, or can I tell?
I don't know. Can you tell? Is that something you're good at?
Well, I mean, I guess I could figure it out somehow.
I just didn't know if you carried a little piece of magnetic metal with you, right? And you swung it over stuff to see. You got a tool for that.
I assume his tool belt has all kinds of just weird little random things in it. So yeah, sure, why not?
Magnet's probably one of them. Yeah. Some of it's magnetic, most of it isn't. It is durable though.
Okay. Keep that in mind. I'm actually going to try to set aside the magnetic bits.
Okay.
Well, igloo with other pieces.
Okay. Sounds good. So once you've set that aside, which you have time for, the bugs will be upon you in a round or two. But in the meantime, you've moved some metal aside. Now what? Are you going to use the remaining metal to try and make some sort of insulation for the Yellow Rock folks, or what's the plan?
Yes.
Okay, you bet. Roll for that to see how it goes. Same thing as normal. Build a pool, roll dice, looking for a 6. Rosetta, what's the plan?
Seeing him do that and knowing that, we need to quarantine or remove, and know that we are seeing Jacobite go up to start to move the ship, I will go help Nepales to
Okay.
do that more quickly.
That means you get an extra dice. That works just like go ahead.
2 6s.
Nice, you bet. So not only do you pass with, the two of you working together, you make a makeshift metal bubble basically to hold these people in record time. But as you pull it together, you notice that in their pockets, right, they've dropped some stuff. And while you're working around them, you got to get that close anyway, right? And you come up with what looks like a map, a zone of the sea around you. You recognize the tavern as a landmark. Obviously, that part's not good anymore, right? But it does tell you where you are. And it looks like the ship was coming back from, they've drawn little lines on the map to track their course. It looks like they were coming back from a squirrel hive, which is, there had to be a reason for that. Squirrels collect shiny things. They're like the magpies of the Wildsea. Who knows? There's a tag on the side of it, like a note that says the haul was good, but it wasn't everything.
Do we see squirrels around here somewhere, or can we hear them in any of the boxes?
You can hear them like chittering in the trees, yeah, but not here on the ship. No.
Okay. I was like, are they
Jacobite, what'd you get to move the ship?
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to roll.
By the way, I
Let's
love
see.
the background. I love your confidence.
Yeah, I figured that was kind of fitting for what we were going through right now. Okay, so I'm assuming that I've got one for an edge and at least one for used to be a ship.
Yeah,
5 and a 2.
you bet. So you move the ship, you bring it to life without any difficulty. Getting it to move is not hard either. But
I will use my hull-hearted feat to increase the impact of that success.
nice.
That's
You
all
bet.
it says. I increase the impact of any successful action taken while aboard the ship that we own or crew.
That's badass. So impact, right? So sometimes you have tracks, like in this case, I didn't hold that up, but you have 3 tracks to get the ship from where it is to the normal height level. A success, which is to say a 6, would get you a point. But Ozetta gets you, if she were to, so regular impact is 1 check, high impact is 2 checks. Big impact, maybe, but maybe the whole track at once. Depends on how big we're talking. So while you got a success with a problem, Ozetta boosts you so you get a whole success anyway and a problem, which is in my imaginary track in my brain. As the ship trembles to life, and as it wrenches upwards, there's a problem. There's a gasket that blows. This ship has a readout. It's a nice ship. It has a readout, like a diagnostic in front of you that tells you what's in it, right? Who's on it, that sort of thing, and structural damage. And the bottom of the ship has a huge hole in it. The bilge has a big hole in it. So making the ship go up will not be hard. Making it sail will not be hard. Making it stay balanced is going to be a pain in the ass until you get that fixed.
I want to use my structural integration.
Okay, what's that
Which
do?
is once per journey, you may repair a mark of damage on the ship without rolling.
No kidding. What does that look like in World? You just break a piece of you off and it like goes down to the bilge and lays down? What does that look like?
Yeah, why not? That sounds cool.
Well, like
That's
cousin,
cooler than what that's cooler than what I'd come up with.
what was it? The Hand from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Like-
Or Idle Hands. That one's funnier.
oh yeah.
Terrible movie, but kind of funny.
So the ship, never mind. The bilge patches itself. Rather, you patch it. Joaquin, what do you want to do about these bugs? You're gonna. The good news is you saw them coming. The bad news is he's gonna put you right into that stuff. So they're on.
I know what they're susceptible to, or is that something we just have to figure out?
They're a fairly common plight, right? The average sailor has run into buzz bugs at some point. They don't deal well with lightning, frost. Almost no bug deals well with frost. These bugs do damage in large numbers, in little collectives, like mosquitoes. 1 mosquito is annoying. 1,000 mosquitoes going to take all your blood. Buzz bugs are the same deal. So enough wind, and they're not really a problem.
So you said the ship is the one that we designed. So does that
Yes.
mean that the bottom of the ship is are the electrified panels?
Oh, your runners. Yes, you
Well,
bet.
So Joaquin's going to shout down to Jacobite and say, trust me on this. You want to punch through and just give it everything you can.
You bet. Now's the time.
Basically, he's advising him to try to bust through the cloud of buzz bugs so that they're below us, so that they have to come up through those electrified panels in order to even try to get to
Right. So you're suggesting you want him to punch up. You're at the general bottom of the tangle right now, and you want him to go all the way up to the top of the thrash and disperse his way through. The ship's too heavy. It won't stay up there all day. You're going to look kind of like a dolphin. You're going to go and come back down. Because while like there's a lot of up, right? Lots of people do their work on the thrash, the highest topmost layer. Most ships are too heavy and they actually sit on top of the tangle and sort of float along it. But that'll be really badass. What was I going to say? I forgot. I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, yes, impact. That's something we should talk about. If you can cut on purpose in order to get more impact. I'm never going to make you do that. I might occasionally have you cut for difficulty, but you can always choose to cut for impact. The idea is you shave off the highest die you roll, and if you pass anyway, right? Even if you don't, if you get a 4 or 5 or whatever you get has more impact. Before I get to Jacobite to see if he's going to go through with your crazy plan, Follies and Ozetta, what are you doing? You finished making this metal bubble. You got yourself what amounts to a very rudimentary map. Whoever drew that is not going to get marks for cartography.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to look at it and just kind of like, do I notice there's something like off with the ship, like as far as like the build and all that? Can I tell that that's like a little wonky, or?
It was a little wonky. Yeah, you can tell that the ship rocks a little funny, but then it was gone. Maybe it was nothing. Who knows?
Probably just kind of being myself. I'm going to go check that out anyway.
Sounds good. When you go down through the ship, you suss out pretty fast that the reason ships have bilges, and it's to maintain balance on the ship. You're not an idiot. You know where to go, right? But that means you have to go to the bottom of the ship.
Right.
Which means you're going to leave the rest of your crew up here to handle whatever it is they have to deal with while you're in the bottom of the ship. The bottom of the ship is going to be it's far away, right? You won't be able to see them and you won't be able to hear them, but they're tough. They can handle it. You go down there. When you get to the bottom of the ship, you find that there is a piece of what, Jacobite? Are we talking a piece of wood? What part of you did you give up to patch the ship?
Part of the metal band that goes around my whiskey barrel torso.
Okay. So there's a very out of place looking metal band in an otherwise wooden ship. Like a metal band-aid in the middle of an otherwise, it looks a little rough, right? But it's definitely working. As you got down here, you had to walk through pretty much the entirety of the ship to make that happen. Inside, there are just tons and tons of crates and barrels. So they're stacked. At first, they're stacked on top of each other. Then they're bolted to each other. Like you're probably looking at 100 containers by the time you're done, and they're all bolted either to each other and then to the floor or to the wall. Everything is secured a lot. And once you get down into the middle of the ship, when you're just surrounded by crates, they smell awful. Not like toxic awful, but like Yankee Candle when all the smells hit you at once, like that. Like when it's just like, oh my God, I wish I didn't have a nose.
That moment where you know exactly what that smell is and it's not good.
Yeah, right.
The why did I come in here smell.
Yes.
My dad used to bring a bag of coffee beans with him so you could kind of purge his nose and reactivate his ability to smell.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, if you have to do that, right, the candles
Don't go there.
Individually, they are wonderful. All together, it is a cacophony of awful.
Like, I appreciate the skill, the technique, right, the trick, that's good. But if you have to do that,
So
you should.
Is the big hall used to be a mall, and they found the bathroom.
Yeah, right. Bed Bath and Beyond.
They raided Bed Bath and Beyond. We shall take all the soaps.
Oh, man.
Jacobite, you have enough time. Do you want to roll to move the ship at regular impact or something higher than that? I mean, how much do you trust this Joaquin character?
Well, I assume I trust him a little bit, and I am kind of reckless. So,
okay,
what the hell?
Sounds good.
Let's try. I'm gonna try his plan.
If you pull it off, you'll pop up to the surface and glide through the air effortlessly for a while, like a big wooden dolphin, loaded down with Bed Bath & Beyond.
Lots of sweet pea lotion.
Yeah, right. Bath salts, bubble bath.
Sorry, that's the lotion my wife likes. That's the only reason I know what it is.
Sure.
I do have soft hands.
I got this manly boat, and that pushes it right up.
I do have soft hands, but yeah. Okay. 2 5s and a 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
You bet. So you crash up to the surface with no problems. You bet. You crash up through the tree line, snapping branches. You hear the bugs go, as they chase you, right? It's like a bug zapper, except it's literally the size of your ship because it is.
So I was gonna say it's like a nice Saturday night in the South.
Bad. No, Polly's being at the bottom of the ship, you're at the very end of the weight distribution as they pop through. You experience this very noticeable sense of weightlessness, because for a brief moment you're not even touching the trees. You're just flying like a baseball, and then you're not, right? So when you crash back down, the ship rocks. I mean, the bilge is all better, but still, that's quite the impact. You smash back down to the tree level. You rock back and forth. Where I don't know how hardy you are. I don't know if you fall over, but one of those crates spills open, and you were looking at a bright blue powder that fills the floor like blue sand.
Do I know what this is?
Tell me a little bit about your character's backstory and skill set. He's a machinist, right? You build stuff.
Travel hand. So he's like, always repairing things and then, trying to make improvements with the stuff that Ozetta drags up.
Wait. Improvements, right?
Improvement.
Roll for it.
Hey, what would that be? Sharps for sure. Scrutinize, I suppose. And
Mhm.
scavenge.
All those sound great.
Two sixes, a 5, and a 2.
2 6s, a 5, and a 2. You bet. So you know what it is, right? It's clover dust. It's a sedative. In small doses, you can use it to numb people's pain. In high doses, you can put them in comas. In large doses, you can melt people into nothing with it. It's incredibly valuable and stunningly illegal. Like, did I mention it's flammable? You need to keep it damp. If it gets too hot, it bursts into flames.
Okay, so
It's exceedingly illegal.
So, is there any place I can see or any way I can to try to restore this stuff so it doesn't aerate?
Here in the bilge, it's damp. It's probably going to be all right. But yeah, you could sweep it up and tuck it into something else. You bet. You're definitely. I mean, if half these crates have this stuff in it, you are looking at infinite riches. But you got to figure out where to sell it, because you're not going to sell this on an up and up market. It's not going to happen. No legitimate merchant would even look at you.
How does one use this? Is it inhaled? Is it?
Depends on how fast a result you want, but for the quickest results, you put it in your body. For something more controllable that takes longer, you just put it on your body.
Okay. So actually, one of my salvage things is pieces of pipe. It's one of the things I took.
Mm-hmm.
Going to I assume I have some way that I can seal off one end of the pipe and store some of this and make sort of my own tin can, so to speak.
Yeah, like a Pringles can full of drugs. You got it. I got you bet.
Like
Pringles can full of drugs.
Yeah, a little rivet here, a little bang there, a little there. You're good to go.
So Pringles can. I mean, aren't Pringles drugs effectively? I mean, really?
Yeah, right.
I would agree.
They say right at the end, you can't eat just one, right?
I think you're thinking of Doritos.
Is it?
Well, for me,
Anyway.
Pringles works too.
They are really yummy.
I love
Not
them.
all of them. I get real fussy. The pizza ones, I'll eat that can. Right?
I just go with the standard.
Standard. The hell is a standard Pringle?
The one in the red can.
Wait,
There is an
plain old
original
no-
flavor.
No kidding.
Original.
You're an original Pringles guy?
Yep.
Weird.
Why mess with the classic?
That's just powdered potato dust pressed into a
And yet, once you pop, you can't stop.
That's it. Right. I mean, he's not wrong.
Trademark.
Right.
Sorry. Since we're live.
Yeah, right.
We're not talking about Pringles. We're talking about the drugs in the pipe that Nepal.
Pringles.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're Pongles. Right.
Yes.
Pringles did not sponsor this video. Oh God, I hope they do though. That would be great.
So essentially,
Yeah.
you just created a pipe bomb right? The place.
Basically, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Pipe bomb, or just a nice little bioweapon as works. Anyway, so hey.
So here you are on top. You're safe. I mean, as safe as the Wildsea ever is, right? You got the never-ending buzzing of bugs and birds and snapping and pinwolves and branches and just the ambient noise, but nothing unusual. There's no immediate signs of danger. You're as safe as you can be when you're still on a ship. Now what?
Full of explosives.
Well, there's that. Yeah. You are sailing a ship of TNT.
So my question is the metal containment that you built around these yellow rot people, is it a dome to where they can't be exposed to the sunlight, or was it just kind of a fence around them?
Kind of a fence around them.
Okay, so we can kind of keep them contained and just kind of let them cook in there in the sun for a while.
And about this time is when I pop up out of below deck and say, "Hey guys, we got a lot of drugs."
Now would be a good time. It's broad daylight. If they're exposed to the sun, they're
A lot of drugs.
Which one?
Uh,
Multiples?
clover dust.
Clove dust. Would I
don't tell anybody
recognize
I have
that?
all of it in my tool pack.
As a deep diver, you bet. Clover dust is incredibly valuable to the worst kind of people.
Do I know those worst kind of people?
I mean, probably feel free to make a resource roll or invent an NPC on the spot. I think it's Knives in the Dark has a mechanic called the I know a guy rule. And you pull an NPC out of your ass, and then I just incorporate them into the story. If that's not your jam, feel free to roll.
The NPC's name is Falter Fight
Nice.
or Pessy Jinkman. I'm sorry.
I got you know what? Yeah, I know a guy named Pessy Jinkman.
Okay, sure. You bet.
Met him once a long time ago after a really weird delve. He's the guy
Okay.
you go to when there's no one else to go to.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship? Professional, personal, somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle. When you work in these kind of things where you have to trust each other when you shouldn't trust each other.
Okay.
You're kind of friends to the point where it's like, okay, we won't rat each other out, right? Like, you help me, I'll help you. We don't know each other unless we're actually speaking. That kind of thing.
I see. You bet. When was the last time you knew his location?
Probably before I joined this crew, or they would know who he was as well.
Okay. And how long ago was that? I mean, how long have you known each other?
How
A week,
long
a
have
month?
we been together?
Yeah.
Let's see. I know enough to work with Nepal, so I'd say maybe like 3 years.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So roll what amounts to a social exploration to see if you can't have any reasonable understanding of where he might be.
All right. So I guess I'd be using sharps. That's kind of what I got. So probably use my sharps and my sense for my environmental and
good.
social understanding.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Oh no, I rolled a 2 and a 1, so I have no idea where he is right now.
Rough.
I have absolutely no idea where Pessy
he's
is
out
right now.
there somewhere. You bet.
He's probably one of the comatose people on our ship, and she just doesn't even recognize him.
Just don't even
Joaquin,
recognize him.
Are you still in the crow's nest?
Yes.
You bet.
I'm just kind of keeping an eye out on the horizon to see if there's anything coming from any direction.
You bet. You see 2 ships coming this way, smaller, faster. They're like the one you're currently flying. Sides designed to go fast and cut through stuff. They have cannons and mortars on them. They are coming this way quickly.
Guys, are there weapons on this ship?
I guess we look around and we do have some grand blast bows, which are probably really good to have with explosive drugs on on board, but we have blast bows.
Well, we've got 2 ships incoming and they're heavily armed, so we probably better get ready.
Ooh.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I said, ooh.
Yeah, I heard you. Where are you going with this?
I'm wondering if Nepales could fashion some sort of chemical weapon delivery system onto the blast bow.
You know, it's funny.
It's funny you bring that up.
Already thinking like, okay, so I mean, I would need some sort of compression system to really pull it off.
Well, you got
Well-
a belt full of gadgets, right? Like
Yeah, I mean,
that
it's
tinkerer.
well, yeah, but like, you know, for
Well,
and
So Joaquin says if you can get it put together, I can probably hit him. I've got a pretty good aim, as you know.
yeah, so which effect do we want? Do we want boom or massive amount of drugs?
I mean, I'll offer boom at least to one of them, and then maybe massive amount of drugs to the other, so that we can perhaps steal another ship.
Okay.
Two
Well,
shifts.
Boom is a little easier. The other one would be like to try to aerate the massive amount of drugs would take some doing. Boom is much easier.
I mean,
What-
third option is try to talk. We don't have to. I'm just saying we do have a third option. Just whether or not we want to
I
consider it.
mean, I'm okay with that, but from what it seems like, they're coming pretty fast and they don't seem very friendly.
There is
But
a
it-
fire behind us. They might be coming to deal with that too.
Behind and below you,
Behind and below. Okay.
because it sank with your bar.
That's true.
So whatever you're gonna do, I mean, the ships are gonna be on you like in the next 12 seconds, give or take. They are coming in fast. That you see the people on the ships. You're looking at a collection of those spider people, right? The Celicrae, a large collection of spiders that crawl over each other and hold a generally humanoid form by crawling all over each other.
Yeah, I don't like those guys.
One of
Are
them
they-
gets it. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, are they perhaps within range of my long rifle?
You can absolutely shoot at them if you like. Both ships are within range, but they are like you'll have to pick one to shoot at because
Yeah, I'll just randomly pick one. I'll pick the one on the left, and I'm going to try and shoot the person who is piloting their ship.
Okay. You bet. With your, incredible eyesight and reaction time, you see that they're advanced. One of them is walking across the deck to what looks like a big horn. They're like a Matterhorn, right? It essentially allows you to talk over the buzzing of the ocean without any problems. Those are expensive. Usually people just get in close and yell, right? So presumably they're going to try to talk to you. Who knows what they're going to say, but presumably they're going to use that to talk. Do you
Okay,
shoot
well
them
then-
anyway?
I will get the helmsman in my sights and hold and just be ready to pull the trigger as soon as I figure out what's going on.
Okay, you bet. I have other players who would have just shot him, right? Okay, you bet. The spider guy, the spider mound, really. Right, like Nepalese is like, yeah, blow him up.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say Joaquin isn't going to shoot him anyway when he hears
You're
what
right.
he has to say? It's just, you never know.
Something else first.
Huh?
Trying something else first.
Yeah, right. All right.
While he's talking, I am actually rigging up one of the blast bows with the explosive drugs.
Of course you are.
Yes. Hey,
Now, when you say that, you mean like the pipe bomb you have, or like you rigged a crate to this thing somehow?
let's go with the pipe bomb that I have. I mean, you said this stuff is fairly explosive, right?
Yeah, it's fairly explosive. This much of it's enough to take out a ship for sure.
And our blast bar already explodes, so
You are talking about causing, rampant wildfire, though.
Well, I mean, as an Ectus, that'd be fantastic if the deserts would come back anyway. So I don't know if I care.
You're not super concerned about. Okay, you bet. So
We're going to prison
I'm also more
at
interested
some
in
point.
not dying.
you are pirates.
So I guess whenever
Brought to you by Ardbeg. Sorry.
whenever Joaquin feels like they're close enough to be heard, he's going to shout out to them and ask what their purpose is. What's up, guys? What are you
You
doing?
bet. They announce through the horn that you have something that belongs to them, and they don't mean you any harm. They would just like to dock, get the stuff that belongs to them, and then be on their way.
How much time do you need, Nepales?
How much time do I need?
I mean, we're talking about rigging a pipe bomb to essentially a giant bow, right?
Right.
I mean, he
Okay.
already had it in the container, so
Yeah, a couple
all
seconds.
you got to do
I
is
mean,
strap it on.
Yeah.
Oh, yellow.
Like-
It's already done.
Okay, so Joaquin's gonna just say, I think you have the wrong number, and then he's gonna shoot the helmsman.
Roll to attack.
Okay, so I
Who
have
phone? Who dis?
I have Deadeye and Hawk Sights, and then I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use Instinct on this because I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants with this one.
Sounds good.
I know Joaquin relies heavily on Instinct.
Good for him.
So let's see. So that should be 4 dice, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I have 2 5s, a 4, and a 3.
You bet. So you're looking at a partial success with the twist. You know what the twist is.
1 second, and I can figure that out. Let's get to the right page.
So you don't miss, right? You plug this guy with, what do you shoot out of that rifle? Are they bullets? Are they darts? I mean, it's Wildsea. Just because it's a rifle doesn't mean they're lead slugs, right? What are you hitting him with?
I don't know. I feel like Joaquin has different bullets for different situations.
Okay. Oh, you froze there for a second. Uh-oh.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
He must have touched his freezing bullet.
Yeah, right. Or he touched the yellow stuff. Don't do that, man. What part of coming out of his eye sockets and mouth didn't make sense to you? While I wait for him to come back into focus, what are the rest of you doing?
I guess
There we
what
go.
there he is.
Hey, he's back. Excellent. So what do you shoot at you're muted. What do you shoot this guy with?
Sorry.
That's
So
okay.
I said I went to this whole long speech and didn't realize that I was.
Yeah, not a
but-
word. I heard he has different bullets for different nothing.
Yeah. So he has different bullets for different situations. Just long story short, this time he's using a metal slug.
Okay, you bet. So you're just plugging him. You bet. So you don't miss him at all. But he's made out of spiders, right? So shooting him takes him apart and you rend him, but you don't necessarily kill him. It's like punching water. The spiders fall apart, but they panic when they do so, and they wrench the ship. They wrench the wheel when they do that. The good news is the ship wrenches away from you. The bad news is that the remaining spiders take that as an assault and they run towards their weapons on the ship. One of which you recognize as a piercer. It's essentially a giant grappling gun, like the 4-clawed thing. They're going to punch it through the side of your ship. Nepales, what do you want to do?
I'm going to start off with, by on the end of my little pipe, I'm going to draw a smiley face.
You bet.
And I don't know. I guess I guess I can see all this happening, right? Like that they're right.
Oh, yeah.
All that. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're going
Those
to
are on the deck, so you can see all of it.
we're just gonna go ahead and send a message here, and I guess I'm going to shoot my weapon of mass destruction here. Like,
Because
Kill
that's
it
what
with
we do
fire.
in the first session. We pull out, the big one.
Well, it's spiders. You kill it with fire.
We
Yeah.
have plenty.
That's true. You haven't actually gone through the crates. For all you know, that's all you got, right?
Could be.
Like described, there's a lot. There's enough to make a lot of bombs down there.
Well, if that's what's in those crates and barrels, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So let me see. I think I have like strike and sharps.
mhm. So all you're rolling for in this case is to hit them.
Yeah.
If you miss, that's going to make a really big hole in the Wildsea. If you hit them, it's still going to make a pretty big hole in the Wildsea.
So sharps and strike. Does that make sense to you? I suppose.
Yes, but I would roll with at least one advantage die.
Okay.
The ship is right next to you. It's huge. It's going to be real hard to miss.
I got a 6 and 2 and 2 1s.
You got 6 and 2 1s. You bet. So you hit the ship, right? I mean, it's right there. Boom! Right, and you blow it into oblivion. And a little tiny part, a little piece of it spirals through the air and lands on the deck of your ship. It looks like a captain's cutlass. Presumably, I mean, I don't know if it's a captain's cutlass. It's a cutlass. It looks nice. It looks like it's been through a lot of fights and somebody's taken a lot of care of it. And there's the bottom of it. You say again?
And now he's dead.
Yeah, right. The cutlass sticks in the top of your deck upside down. The machinist in you recognizes that the bottom of it screws, right? Like the part that you hold on to is hollow. The other ship peels off. Of course they do. You just blew the other one into less than dust, right? As fiery bits of wood splinter down into the who knows where on top of who knows what. So many spiders die at once, you can actually hear them die.
I love the smell of napalm in them.
The other ship makes this awful wailing noise as a hand crank alarm as they sail away. Absolutely not worth it.
So I'm going to go and pick up the cutlass, but the first thing I'm going to do is head down there and make more of my little pipe bomb friends.
I see. From the crate you already from the crate that got popped open earlier, or are you popping up another one to make sure that's what you got?
Well, I'm just going to, I mean, that turned out to be useful. We'll start there. We have time.
Okay, you bet. You fasten another one of those with no problems. Jacobite, that what I mean, you're sailing a ship, right? And the other one goes kaboom. Now what? You recognize that alarm sound. That's the we have a huge problem, like calling all cars sound.
Yep. I say, well, I guess we probably better go somewhere that's not here and try to be as stealthy as we can. But I know we need to stay in the sun to heal these people, or we could still just push them off.
So does it have to be like all at the same time, or can it be just little bits here and there of some they get?
So you can kind of, pass back and forth as you like. You could get some now and some tomorrow, but much like different viruses, if you give them time to adapt to their environment, they might.
Yeah.
So you risk creating a new kind of yellow rot, but you'll probably heal them all the same. Up to you. Have the four of you been on a smuggling run at any point? I mean, you're pirates, but it doesn't mean you smuggle loot.
We're definitely
Right.
pirates now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got a ship that may or may not be filled with drugs. Right.
I mean, I'm sure we have.
Okay, you bet.
Joaquin was a smuggler before he joined this crew
Okay, you
3
bet.
years ago.
I feel like that's probably how Joaquin and Ozetta met then.
Okay.
Is she probably got hired to find it and you got hired to take it somewhere. So
You bet. Then at least the two of you know that the gray market is a great place to park your ship. Trevane used to be on the up and up, decided that took too long to get money, right? Very Edward Kenway about the whole thing, right? Trevane's like, yeah, I mean, I could play fair, but it takes so long. So he stopped doing that. Eventually, Trevane got old and retired and now runs a safe haven. He will not, and it's not a you do a favor for me and I do a favor for you. It's not everybody plays like not everybody roll. Some people roll loaded dice and no judgments here, right? He's a skullduggery guy all the way through, and you can trust him just as well as you can trust any good guy.
what was his name?
Trevane. I can spell it for you if you want.
Yes, please.
Trivine. Excuse me, Trivane. The gray market isn't what it used to be. It doesn't have the same kind of thorough back and forth it used to. Side effect of the land it was built on, part of it sinking back below the waves. But Trevane still has what's left. And it's still a place to lay low. Trade isn't what it used to be, but safe haven's just as good as it ever was.
So
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is to all three of them. At this point, Joaquin's come down to join them. So we're basically faced with a vote, I guess. Our choices are stay up here for a while, let the crew heal from their yellow rut, and possibly get found out from now all the people that know where we're headed and what we have, or we dump the crew and get to a safe place and we should be good.
I mean, they were smuggling this stuff. They're probably not going to be very friendly towards us.
Might not, but maybe we can convince them to stick with us,
Pirates are
or
pretty
we can
cool.
push them off the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we definitely have all the cards. I'm actually going to go ahead and unscrew the bottom of that cutlass, by the way.
Yeah, you bet. You pop that open and you're looking right? And you're looking at a roster, right? It looks like a letter on the front, and a list of names on the back. You recognize them. They're different members of like famous crews from the past, like the greatest rigger and the greatest sky captain and stuff like that. It's a list of like the greatest who's of different roles. The front of it is a letter, an open letter to them. Presumably there's more than one of these, like it's not addressed to any individual person. And it sounds like there's a big score, and whoever wrote this is attempting to recruit those people to go get like the mother load. And there's a lot of like, look, I wouldn't be bothering to recruit you if, you weren't worth the money and the money wasn't, and the money's going to be there.
I'm going to call Ozetta over and show her this. And she's the one who's probably the most interested.
Yes. That is my goal in life. Yeah, would I recognize like any of like the information, or like have I heard of this so-called ruin?
Yeah, the mother lode is supposed to be like the biggest, baddest. It's like the vault from Borderlands. Supposed lots of different stories of the mother lode come through, but the one that's the most popular is that a pre-V ruin, that some larger portion of the planet remains uncontaminated or unexcavated for some reason, and the hard part is getting to the bottom to get to it. Whatever. Supposedly it's a warehouse filled with goodies from the past. And obviously people spin that into, could be medical supplies, could be money, could be enough food to feed you forever. Who knows? But this letter doesn't address anybody by name, right? And it isn't signed by anybody, but there are coordinates on it.
Well, it's telling people where to go, which seems like a poor idea to tell people where to go before you have them on board.
Would you make what amounts to a perception roll?
Okay.
As you eyeball this thing.
All right, so I guess I would be using, just because of my stuff, I'd be using Sharps, probably Master Salvager.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
That's for getting better stuff, but
in this case, I would go with it anyway.
okay, and then
I'll tell you why in a minute.
And then probably Scavenge as well. So okay, I have a 6.
Nice. You notice that the coordinates are shy a number.
Aha. Okay, but they're a little smarter about it. They left the last coordinate off there, last number off the coordinate, but maybe we can start to narrow it down slightly.
Without that last coordinate, you're looking at like, you have your horizontal positioning. It's the other way that's a problem.
I see. Okay. So it's a start. It's something. It's closer than we were yesterday.
Closer than you were 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
So speaking of 5 minutes, we are at the halfway mark. Does anybody go to the bathroom and get something to drink?
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Sounds
yeah.
good. See
How
everybody.
long are we taking? 15?
15? Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
I didn't do it. You can't make me.
Nice.
Ooh. I have to like go punch links into Discord now. Did I mention I'm in the Wildsea Discord?
Oh, no.
Any opportunity to harass the people that make a thing that I like.
And to use the lovely program that is Discord.
I can't stand Discord. It's super, super useful, right? But something about the UI pisses me right off. I don't get it.
Oh, I know. That's why I said
Ugh.
it.
Like somebody's heard of old school IRC, but was never actually on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Nice.
actually an excellent description.
It is. Yeah. I picked this up not that long ago. I know, totally not on topic, but I promised them I'd pick it up next time I was at the store that sold it, so I did. I now held up next to the Jumpstart kit, which if you're not familiar, is essentially the demo. It's kind of funny, right? Because the Jumpstart's like twice as big. So here you are. You blew up one ship. The other one called for its mommy and flew away. And here you are on the open seas with a letter of open engagement for the greatest of the greats. A promise of supposedly a lead on the mother lode. Which, I mean, just like Atlantis, right? Some people are like, it's not real. Other people would die to find it. The gray market's not that far from here. But Trevane is the kind of guy who's going to ask you, he'll totally let you stay, but he's also going to ask you to do a job for him as like payment for it. He doesn't really deal in money anymore. He has way too much of it. And it's totally safe at the gray market. You will have to get in undercover, right? But once you're there, giant turret guns, you're going to be safe. If you would rather not go bother Trevane, he's a cranky old man and, you know, nobody likes him and he likes it that way. You could take your chances somewhere else. The Wildsea is ever changing. Who knows? Either way, probably staying here, not a great idea.
I am muted.
Yes, you are.
Depending on how much of this clover dust we have, we might want to offload some of it. It might not be a good idea to have a ton of this stuff on board.
Yeah, especially considering how flammable it is.
Mm-hmm. As we're going, I'd say Ozetta, being the scavenger that she is, would be going through all of these boxes to see what's in them. I know I was looking at the map, but I would also be going through and trying to figure out what's in these boxes to, you know, see what we have that's valuable, what these spider creatures might have been coming after, other than possibly just the clover dust.
You bet. So you crack how do you go through them? Is this a meticulous thing? Do you run up to one, rip it open, look at it, go, ooh, and then rip open the next one? Like, how does describe how you categorize stuff?
I guess it would be her knowing how people hide, or she knowing how people hide things. She would probably crack one open, look at the top. If it looks valuable, say, cool, that's what's in here. If it looks invaluable, going underneath it to see if they're hiding something more valuable.
You bet. Sounds good. As you crack them open one at a time, by and large, you'll come up with spare ship parts and lots of salvage, bits of broken metal and amber over here, lots of rope and tackle over there. You do find 2 more crates of clover dust. You're looking at, like, all said and done in one big pile, probably 50 pounds of it. That's
50 keys.
Yeah. That's enough to buy a great deal of stuff, but it won't make you independently wealthy for life or anything.
Sorry, I watched the Cocaine Cowboys show on Netflix the other day, so
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking in keys.
I just watched the episode of Friends where Chandler takes a bath, so it's sort of
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
I got this cool boat. Like,
They're effervescing,
yeah, right.
as you said the other day.
Yeah, right. Like, man, that's interesting. Yeah, right. Actually, we just watched the one where Joey tells Rachel how he feels, and I'm so upset because it's never going to go anywhere, and that's a bummer because Joey's a nice guy. He's kind of a pig, but he's a nice guy. Anyway,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that kind of wanted that to work out. There's a lot of people that hate that it even happened.
I bet.
It's
I
a
have no
divided
doubt.
camp. I'm
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
those that thinks, you know what? Ross is an asshat. That would have
He
been
is.
much better.
Yes.
The Rossatron, yeah, screw that guy. Like-
So
I didn't even watch
qu-
Friends,
qu-
and I don't like Ross.
Yeah. Question about the gray market. What
Yeah.
level is it on?
Oh, the top for sure.
It's on the top. Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to go low to get there.
So, Ozetta, do you have any potential contacts there that we can maybe sell some shit to?
I assume I do. If this is kind of a hub.
Yeah, right.
Maybe Pessy Jinkman will be there randomly.
He could be. I mean, there might be better people there other than Pessy if we're going to the gray market. But all else fails. He's a solid dude.
Yeah, right. Is that the plan? Are you going to sail to the gray market?
I think it'd be a good plan.
Okay.
So do we want to try to swoop down and go through stealthily or as stealthily as we can in our big ship that we haven't named yet?
Oh, I forgot to tell you what's in the rest of the crates. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Most of it is food. Most of it. You've got ship parts, right? Ranging from ship salvage, broken parts of wood and bands of metal, and block and tackle, right? You could build a ship with all the parts you've got here from scratch. Most of it is ship salvage, and there's a lot of food, lots of
Okay.
it.
So there's like a bunch of metal and stuff you said.
Right. You're looking at, there's enough wood and metal and food here for you to build a banquet hall and fill it the size of a ship.
Well, that might be good for us to hold on to.
I'm gonna go ahead and like fashion some restraints
Okay.
in case this crew wakes up and they're not being too friendly.
Okay. Given where the gray market is, if you're going to sail there, if you stay up top, the people should be all snapped out of it by the time you get there. If you dip underneath the thrash, obviously that will be less true.
It'd probably be a good idea to stay up because I don't know if we want to bring yellow rot into a place full of people.
Well, there's also option 3 where we don't bring them at all.
Where we hurl them off the side like ugly paperweights, right, and call it a day.
You're trying to kill these poor guys. They're not even awake.
Like a birthday present from your grandma. No, they probably are. They're different reports have come in that some people are aware while they're in the coma state.
Oh,
Not all the time, right? And some people who have been subject to it are like, no, that's not what happened to me, right? So who knows?
So y'all think maybe one of these people had that letter and they're supposed to?
oh no! I think it came off one of the ships that attacked us whenever it went away.
Yeah, it was in the Cutlass.
Oh, it was in the Cutlass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
I also think a good question is how many people are we talking here?
That's
Mhm.
You are looking at 11 people.
11 people. Okay.
I was waiting for somebody to ask. You're looking at 11 people.
I'm like, how outnumbered are we?
4 of us. I say we get rid of 7 of them.
I mean, the others don't have to know.
I mean,
They may know. They may know.
Pull a scar and put a bucket over each of their heads, right?
Uh-huh.
And then like,
Yeah.
But it has to be Jacobite or we will die or get infected.
Yeah. I say I'm gonna help Nepales restrain him,
Okay.
since I've got to be the one basically to get close enough to them. I'm still gonna attempt to not let them touch me or me touch them, but you
You
know,
bet. Sounds good.
I
So
I
go ahead.
say we just keep them chained up or
Yeah.
metal bent up or whatever.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I think that if we're going to this
Chinese finger
market-
cuffs.
Right.
if we're going to this market, we definitely don't need to be bringing people that have a yellow rod. So we're probably gonna have to stay on the surface if we're going there, so they can be normal by the time we get there.
Yeah. We also may want to take like a long way there since people are possibly coming after us.
That's fair. Maybe we kind of skirt around long enough for these people to kind of be healed or whatever, and then we dip down below and go in stealthily.
Yeah. And that way, if they don't agree with us, we can push them off the ship before we're at the secret place.
Exactly.
You know?
And no
You
one will
bet.
see it.
Sounds good. You bet. By all means, make a sailing check to move the way you want, right? Far out and around. Who's at the helm anyway? Is this officially Jacobite's job, or you like take turns?
I think Jacobite is helping Nepale, so it's either gonna. I guess I would probably do it because Joaquin, would you probably go back up into the crow's
Yeah,
nest?
probably
So
go
I
to-
guess it's me.
You bet. A straight line from here, the gray market's, let's see, it's early afternoon now. You'll be there by dawn. So if you want to take your time and dip around a little bit, you're looking at midday to this time tomorrow, give or take.
Okay. So I guess then to roll that, I would be using my sense. I would be using my sharps.
Mhm.
Trying to see what else I could use.
Is there
I
any way
guess-
that I
Oh,
could
go ahead.
help her just by spotting?
Absolutely. If you've got somebody in the crow's nest calling out, land over here, problem over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to roll it, add an extra die.
Okay.
Actually, with his exceptional sight, feel free to add 2.
Cool. So we'll be rolling 4. That's not bad. That one's cocked. I got a 5 with the double ones.
Nice, you bet. So you say for the next, it takes a little bit longer than planned, right? Not because you don't know the way, but because on the way there, you fly through a large bush filled with pinwolves, and they pelt the side of the ship with darts. Mostly cosmetic, but still real noticeable. You get there without any further tribulations. That's the good news. The bad news is, as soon as Joaquin sees the gray market, it's really hard to miss. It has what is essentially is a giant metal pole with an ever-burning candle on top of it. It's like a gas lamp, right? It's the gray market's not a secret. It physically, everybody knows where it is. What it does, it's like a kingpin who can't get caught, not because the good guys don't know that he's a kingpin, but because they can't prove it. Like that. It's not what you know, right? It's what you can prove, right? And
Yeah.
Trevaine's real good at what he does. The gray market's tower, its gaslight is out. That has never happened. And there's smoke rising from the area around the gray market.
Awesome.
I'm gonna tell them we'll probably want to come at this from below instead of just diving right into it.
That's a good idea. Have our people woken up?
I was just about to say they've woken up, and they most of them are human, right? And they go, so they walk up to Nepales and they can't, can they? You restrained them. I misspoke. They call you by name and call you horrible names, right? And they go, we can hear you. I can't believe you're going to toss us off the ship.
I still could.
Well, don't.
Joaquin shouts down, the key thing is we didn't.
I'm gonna leave the helm for half a second to go down there.
I'm like, would you? I mean, this is they kind of pull at the restraints. Are like, this is not necessary. Okay.
I mean, just to understand from our point of view, we didn't know how you would feel when you woke up. We just wanted to make sure that like the yellow rot wasn't going to affect your minds in some way. It was a necessary precaution that we could probably take care of now.
Well, would you please? It would appear that we have a new overcrew. That would be you. What do you do? What do you hunt for? If we were going to sign up with you, right? What would we be signing up for? You did save us from the yellow rot, so at least one job, you know.
Oh, we're just looking for the treasures of the world. Make a little money, make a name.
Well, excellent.
Maybe collect some other people's stuff along the way.
They introduce themselves. Their names are all Tom, except that the first letter changes. So you have like Bomb and Dom and Tom and Zom and so on.
I love this.
All 11 of them. And their game. They're absolutely their game. They're like treasures. Why didn't you say so? And they take big exaggerated bows where their foreheads almost touch the deck. 2 of them are a little woozy. They don't stand up without falling over first, but the rest of them do pretty well.
Well, we have it handled for a little bit. Get some food, get some rest. You guys have been a little bit down for a little while.
And they take off downstairs.
And I will go back, I guess, as they take off. You're welcome.
What are Nepalus and Jacobite doing right now?
I'm not sure. I was about to ask. So you got a crew? They're alive and well, if a little nuts.
Fit right in then.
Say again? Fit right in? Yeah. Jacobite is, I don't know what he's doing. I know that Ozetta's piloting the ship. What are you two up to?
Just going through all the stuff, like I guess categorizing as we can sell this. This might be useful. This is used to fix things, like kind of sorting my way through all the salvage.
Okay, you bet. Like sorted into big, loose categories. You definitely don't need to worry about materials to fix your ship, feed your crew, or like replace bits like rope and tackle fur. I mean, you could almost lose. You wouldn't have to worry about it unless you lost pretty much your entire ship. Like meaningful wear and tear and nothing else, like normal wear and tear, you're looking at like a year's worth of extra bits down here.
And I might actually grab a couple of our under crew to kind of help with, sorting, moving things around. I do tell them, don't go all the way down in the bottom where the clover dust is. Let's keep them out of the bilges right now.
They go, you got it, boss. But might we ask how come? It's not like we don't know it's there.
You don't want to go down there.
Okay. They don't ask any questions after that. They look at each other, they go, and they go back to categorizing stuff. Jacobite, what are you up to?
I'm standing on the prow, trying to be like king of the world. No,
I see.
I'm just watching where we're going.
You bet.
I'm just
Longingly staring off into the distance. Of course, now I notice this, problem at the great board.
I'm just picturing you holding the arm that was made from a prow, like out a little bit further than the actual prow.
Yep.
I would imagine him grabbing John and telling him, draw me like you draw your French woman.
I was imagining his giant wooden form on the very, very edge of the ship posing. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like Bob Costanza.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking the statue of the great thinker, but yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Atlas.
Yeah, right. He's actually taking a big ball of metal just so he can hold it on his head.
No, I think in the meantime I would have found a barrel and that matched my form and gotten the band back that I used to fix the bilges.
Very cool. You bet. Speaking of, do you want to do something more permanent with that? I mean, mechanically, it's all set, but there's no reason you can't have your band back. You'll just have to replace it with something else. Is there any emotional? is there like an emotional capacity to you? I mean, you've literally physically given up a part of yourself to
The
patch a
band,
ship.
no. The band is like a belt.
Okay, you bet.
The wood, a little more so.
Okay, you bet. Joaquin, from your position up there, you can see what's going on, sort of. So the gray market isn't what it used to be. These days, it was probably a bit of a volcano or a piece of a mesa once upon a time. It's mostly rock. It's rock that looks like the desert. It's that tan color. And there are stories of it being, you know, a bustling seaport filled with hundreds of ships at a time. You could buy anything from the dust you're transporting in the ship to live slaves. But these days, it's mostly a giant empty rock with a couple of buildings on it. Comfortable, rather safe, but not super comfortable lodgings. And that's kind of it. There's some trade done, but nothing that takes more than one ship to move. It's certainly not what it used to be. It's gray and squalorful and not the prettiest thing in the world. Even so, it looks worse today. There are big cracks running through it, like fault lines, like earthquake tremors, like that. And two of the major buildings are on fire, and the big crystal's gone out. The big crystal gone out, the gas lamp gone out is bad. That means the giant gun towers don't work. On the one side, it's probably not safe. Like on the other hand, if you save it, Travaine will owe you, I can't even imagine. He'll owe you like the biggest favor ever.
So Joaquin's gonna shout this down to Ozetta, let her know kind of what he sees, what's going on, and be like, "Hey, what's your opinion on this? What do you want to do?"
Why is everything on fire today?
You got me.
At least his fire can't spread. It's on top of stone. If you're going to access
fire in ages and twice in 2 days.
If you're going to access the gray market, you have two traditional options. I mean, you can always jump off a ship or whatever, right? But you've got two like normal options. There are two docks, one on either side. There's also some ships go down like you did earlier, and then they can come back up. There's essentially a hole in the middle of the gray market designed to hold a couple of ships at a time. But you have to go down underneath the thrash, sail underneath the gray market, and then come back up.
I'm gonna suggest we don't anchor anywhere near the fires.
Yeah, that was my thought. We have another option. I'm not sure how many of you can do this, but I have the ability to run across the treetops. So I could go without needing to get our ship too close to see what's going on.
Yeah, that's kind of my specialty too, based off of my background. So yeah, I'm totally on board for that.
I'm out.
What's the matter? You're kind of heavy for that?
A little heavy, yeah.
Can't do that.
I mean, I know splitting up's not always the best idea, but in this situation, getting a little info before moving in.
We could kind of scout out the situation, and if we need them, come back. Plus, I don't want to leave our ship alone.
No. I mean, while our crew seems great, we've known them for 10 minutes.
Yeah. There's no
Don't really want them to run away.
What's the matter? You don't trust them?
We don't want them to run away.
Should we think about naming this ship before we split up?
Ooh.
Yeah.
In case you never see it again. Is that
In case we never
Yeah.
see it again. Yes. What were you thinking?
I like the woo saw. Like a saw.
Like the Warsaw from the Drew Carey show?
Yeah, but it's a woo saw.
Nice.
It's calming, I hear.
Right, because woo! Right. I can see how that zens me right out.
We could
It's
go with
great,
that.
but it's a little too on the money, maybe, Joaquin. I mean, not Joaquin, Jacobite.
Talk to yourself often. Anyway, yeah.
I do, as a matter of fact, and I don't want to catch no crap for it. You understand?
It's only unsettling when you're surprised by the answer you give yourself.
True. Yeah. Very true. When you offer up a thing and your brain's like, no. You know, when you freak out yourself.
May have a problem.
So, given our new goal with whatever this big treasure is that we're pursuing or hunting. Perhaps we become hunters in a way. Something with hunter.
I see where you're going with this. I don't, up to you. I can't help you name your ship.
No, that was Joaquin talking to the crew.
I see.
I can't.
Oh, look, whatever. I'm sure we'll blow it up eventually anyway.
What about the Hunter's Dawn?
Yeah.
And some references to something a little fiery. I'm good.
Yeah. And it's the beginning of our new cruise. So technically the dawn of our new crew.
I like it.
It works.
Hunter's
Well,
Dawn.
Sounds good. Sounds good. How so? Now that you've got a ship and a name for it, also it's the first sit down, so it's like the dawn of the kid. Sorry, I'm gonna ruin it. What's the plan? You've got a burning market. With if Trevaine's in, you don't see him from the crow's nest. If he's there and alive, he's gonna owe you big time for repairing his, for saving his place. But for all you know, you go down there and die. Who knows? You don't see what caused it. Just the buildings are on fire. The ground looks like it's been torn up by an earthquake, but it's not currently shaking or anything. Presumably you're at the aftermath, not in the middle of,
Do we have any like smaller boats attached to the side of this, like lifeboats or landing boats or anything like that?
I assume you have a skiff or two, yeah.
Because I know you and I can run across the top, but I don't know if Trevain can.
Jacobite can just throw him. He'll bounce.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, I'm sure we can come up with a way that we can catapult myself and Jacobite across the tree.
His last name is Bumble. I'm sure it is.
I mean, there's no crap here. I bet we can rig some sort of catapult.
Just
So
shoot the wine keg. It's fine.
So are we all departing the ship and trusting that our crew is not going to betray us?
The undercrew have come back up. They are covered in bits of fruit and like bird. They've got like chicken legs stuck in their beards. They've got grease and apple shit all over their face. They ate a lot of food and they loved it, right? But they're like, yeah, we'll keep the ship safe, we promise. And they rip off another piece. They look way too happy to like do anything less than scrupulous. They look way too kind of like food coma. On the one hand, they're probably not going to steal your ship.
Mhm.
On the other hand, if your ship comes under attack, they're probably going to be too out of it to do anything about it. Like Thanksgiving dinner, the hour after.
So Ozetta will actually walk up to, she'll pick one,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of look you. And she'll walk up and go, look, I like you. I want to be great crewmates together, but focus the F up. We
Yes,
got to go
ma'am.
do a thing. You will watch this ship and you will be here when we come back. Do you understand me?
Understand. I understood. Yes.
Wonderful. And then we will drink and eat more later to celebrate.
All right. I like
Okay.
you
Cool. All right. Focus up. Let's go.
Joaquin's gonna go up to Nepalese and kind of pull him aside, just so he can kind of have a private conversation. And he's gonna say, "Are we worried about them getting into the drug stash?"
because they're high on turkey. That's just what they need. Right.
Yeah.
No. Were there like any locks in any of this stuff?
Beyond the fact that it was bolted down, no.
Okay, so
I'm strong. I could probably bend a metal bar across the door to the bilges.
There.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So you're gonna form yourself a little makeshift prison, makeshift seal for the bilge. No problem. You bet. You're you. You just find a piece of metal. And Conan, He-Man, Arnold, whatever giant overgrown muscle freak you like, seal that on there.
Yeah.
Hulk. I forgot about the Hulk.
Yeah.
Or the X-Men whose name was literally Strong Guy. Right. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
A
I mean,
less creative than usual.
Yeah, right. It's not really
at some point you run out of things. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 90s. What do you want?
Every
Mhm.
once in a while, I hear about an X-Men or one of their villains, and I'm just like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and honestly, it was probably somebody making a joke and it caught.
Right, his name is Guido Carosella.
Oh no!
Yeah, well, what an awful. Oh man.
Oh no!
Yeah, I actually really appreciate where his character arc goes. Like, he's one of the first X-Men to make me cry. But name alone, yeah, it's bad. Like, anyway, so you've got a crew. Are you gonna? Are we splitting it? Are you traveling as a unit? Are you really gonna trust these idiots to babysit your ship?
I mean, I am going to mention to Joaquin that I actually have been playing around with this little design that's in my head of a way to keel haul somebody but not kill them. Which would be far worse.
What do you need for this?
Oh, I'm sure I've got it all down there and all this stuff.
Okay. You think it's something you need, then you let me know though.
That's funny.
So side note outside, like this is meta. I'm picturing Joaquin as kind of like the face man of the group, like from the A team. He's the
Okay.
one that is willing to use his connections to try and find something.
Sounds good. There's a show I need to watch.
You haven't watched the A team?
I have not.
Haven't either.
My favorite show as a kid. It's cornball as crap if you watch it now.
I'm okay with that.
But
It's so good.
my
We grew up
favorite show as a kid.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, back into the game.
Yeah, right. It happens. It's cool.
Okay, so if we're all gonna go, how am I gonna make it?
I'm not
I
sure.
say you take you and Napoleus take the skiff, and Ozetta and I we can just walk along the treetops.
That works.
Okay. I'm gonna tell one of the crew members, not the one that's in charge, before we leave to paint Hunter's Dawn on the side while we're gone.
Okay. Any particular color there, boss?
Whatever paint we got.
Okay. You bet.
Let's say blue.
Okay. You bet.
Do we
I
have
need-
enough paint for them to make it a little aesthetically different enough that we might not be easily recognized from a distance?
Paint the whole ship. Make
Yeah.
it-
Camouflage, essentially.
Yeah.
Or just disguise.
Yeah. Paints a giant mustache.
Becoming another person. Becoming another person.
Like, is there enough paint for them to do that? Or
I'm sorry. I didn't know that was. I thought you were just like waxing game. I didn't realize that was an actual question.
that's the question.
Yeah, there's enough paint for that. But not if they fuck it up. Like, there's enough paint for them to give that one take. You know what I mean?
Well, better than nothing, I say.
Okay, sure. They go, we don't mean to be ungrateful or concerned or whatever, but you want us to make the whole ship? How long you plan on being gone?
Get as far as you can while we're gone.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, you bet.
We don't
And they
plan
go-
on being gone long, but we may be,
Okay,
So,
sure.
just-
Yeah.
you know. And nobody fall off. Don't be a dumbass.
What is-
There's plenty of rope underneath. Just grab some rope.
Make sure you tie yourself off.
And that's how we lost our last captain, that guy. He died. He's a dumbass. He fell.
His name was Trump. That guy.
You mean Captain Tromcall the Brave?
Yes, although we call him Captain Trump, called the recently deceased from the dumbassitude.
Well, you know, one man's dumbass is another man's brave.
How do you think we got the yellow rot? That guy.
Well, we will
That's
try to
perfect.
not get you infected with weird fungus.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Hey,
healed you
thanks.
from it.
And we are thankful for it. We were just wondering how long you thought you'd be gone, if we're just gonna be painting the
Cool.
whole ship while you're gone.
We don't plan on being gone long, but get as far as you can, just in case somebody tries to recognize us.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah, right. You want to start them, like we say a lot, they start counting. You want to go 11 a lot? I don't know. They're the boss. Shut up. Okay. And they go back to doing what they were doing.
Oh, our sweet little oafs.
Bunch of idiots.
Well, as long as they're good at fighting and do what they're told,
As long as
that's
they're
all that
loyal.
matters.
Yep.
Right. So let me
But
get
anyway,
this right.
building's on fire. We should go.
Right. Joaquin and Ozetta, you're gonna like tree surf like
Gonna wave
Tarzan
walk
from that
it.
movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Naruto run.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Arms
Uh,
back, head forward.
I've never watched that, but
So
I've
I
seen it run.
picture for Joaquin, I picture something similar to, not exactly like, but similar to like the Disney animated Tarzan when he's like surfing in the trees.
Yeah. Such a great movie. Oh man, love that movie. So what does Ozetta's like surfing look like?
I feel like she's a little bit more Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type movement of jump from treetop to treetop.
Okay, sounds good.
Just having that light enough footing to be able to not crack it down when she lands.
Okay, sounds good. So you're like move effortlessly from branch to branch like it's no big thing.
Mhm.
You bet. And how are we getting the rest of you across?
We're gonna use the skiff, right?
Okay. I didn't know if you would like if that was really the plan. You bet.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the skiffs, I mean, it's not one skiff will hold both of you. They're not exactly designed for stealth, but they're just not particularly loud. It's a dinghy, basically. It breaks the same amount of branches that you think it does, and no more than that. So this kind of rules out your ability to go underneath the gray market. So the good news is, two of you, I mean, you're not really going to use a dock. The skiff is small enough that you don't really need to dock it to find a place. So the edges of the gray market, the two docks are there, not because it's the only place you can pull up the ship, but because it's easier to get all the trade in one spot. The gray market as a whole is a flat stone slab. So there aren't any walls. So you can kind of pull up wherever. I guess the question is, how close do we want to get to the buildings? You're looking at two large buildings that are from this direction are like if you pulled up to the edge of the cliff closest to them, maybe 50 feet, maybe. There's two more buildings that are much larger, like 300% larger. Kind of in the middle of the area next to where you would have come up in the ship if you did it underground. And the gas lamp that goes up and up and up and up, and you have to like be in the skies to play with, attaches to that and goes all the way up. So from here, you're definitely on the side with the fire. You could go all the way around and be farther away from the fire, but the smoke would make it difficult to see. Similarly here, you're on top of the whatever action there is already. And you'll be easier to see because you can, your vision works better the closer to your face you get, but it's going to make your eyes water and it's going to be uncomfortable. Up to you.
Which way is the wind currently blowing?
From left to right, give or take. Which is to say, if you came in from here, the wind will blow the smoke away from you eventually, just not in the next 5 minutes. There's too much smoke for that to happen. The two buildings in front of you are made out of wood. The two closer to the gap are made out of stone. The two that are made out of wood, you can see the smoke coming up through them. There's a lot, you can tell from here, there's a lot more fire in them than there is on the outside. You hear the sputtering and bursting of wood inside.
Is there water or anything nearby?
Usually Trevane has a large collection of water in one of the larger buildings next to the gap. Large containers of it. One of those buildings is a smokehouse, assuming he hasn't changed it. So people on Wildsea still like things like steak and meat and the like. But traditionally you make those with fire, right? And open fire is unacceptable. Well, I mean, to everyone except Nepalese, right? Like, but to most people, open flame is like a cardinal sin and nobody engages with it full stop. But people still benefit from it in smokehouses in various places. It's also a great way to get information out of people if you get them good and full and talking to you first.
I guess as Ozetta arrives, she's gonna just start yelling for Trevane to see if she can locate him.
You bet. Would you roll dice to search for him? Shave off a cut of 1 no, because it's difficult to see with the
Okay.
eye with watering eyeballs, unless you have a reason why your eyes would not water.
Nope.
Okay.
not
you
knowing
bet.
enough about Ketra to know whether or not their eyes actually water or not. Yeah, so I will use sharps. I will use scavenger, I guess, or my scavenge feats for this one. And I guess I will take 1 off for that. So I get 2. That's a 3.
Rough. You bet. So as you look around, you do find that one of the buildings you hear what you think is a yell or a muffled noise of a person from inside the wooden building on the left from where you pulled up the skiff. Well, from where they pulled up the skiff. You get inside with no problem, right? The door is open enough. You can ajar. You just push it open. It blows up when you push it. You push up against something and it hurls you backwards. But the good news is that Jacobite, you hit him, right? And he's big and durable, so you go like that and you don't go any further. And neither one of you topple off and get lost into Wildsea. The bad news is that you take damage to one of your arms.
All
Feel
right.
free to choose which one.
So I will go ahead and take that mark against my driftwood core.
Okay, what does that mean? I know
So,
your driftwood core does.
so driftwood core is essentially, it gives me resistance to damage types, but I figure if I'm taking physical damage, it's probably the place it would be going.
Okay, sounds good.
That's how damage works, right?
You're right. That's how damage
Okay.
works. Right.
Okay.
Jacobite, you've got a very forceful impromptu hug. What do you want to do about it?
Gently pat on the head
I see.
and set down gently.
I see. You bet.
Puts me
I'm
down.
a big guy, but I'm a softie.
Aw. Aren't you made out of wood? How soft can you be?
It's not the outside.
So I
I see.
lift up my arm. It's like a little bit more gelatin than it used to be, and I pull out the broken driftwood, just throw it to the side.
Nice. You bet.
That's gross.
Ew.
Ew, you're nasty.
Nepales, what are you up to? You got 2 burning buildings. Good news is the stone doesn't burn, right? So those 2 buildings are probably fine.
But there's 2 wooden buildings on fire too, correct?
4 buildings total. The 2 closest to you are made out of wood. They're much smaller. Have you been to the gray market before?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah, these 2 are mostly residential buildings. Presumably Trevane lives here, but no one knows where exactly. It doesn't look like much. It's a giant stone slab with 4 buildings and a spire on it. That's it.
So I'm going to try to, if there's anybody around to help whatsoever, but like we need to form a fire brigade and get this put out.
Okay, you bet. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, look for a bucket first. Look for some buckets first, I assume, and then go from there.
The second stone building, one of them is a smokehouse. The other one is what's I'm looking for? Like a steam room, except it's a giant stone, like a stone igloo. The moisture comes from a giant water reservoir that he has built sort of into the bottom of it. So you've got like the building, the ground, right, and then below that is a giant reservoir full of water. The stone igloo, the door opens without too much difficulty. It's a heavy door, but it's not locked or anything. You push it open, stone water reservoir, just where you expect it to be, benches, steam room, right? It's not on right now. You activate that by lowering this big crystal into the water that interacts with the water. You lower it in and they interact and cause steam to go everywhere. The water is an infinite. Traditionally, that is established through trade. You bring enough water to fill it back up, you stay for free, right? That kind of thing. Or you get a lead or something like that. It's a trade-based place. But there's enough water in there that you can probably put out the buildings as long as you don't waste any of it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna yell for help and then try, like I said, let's get a
Okay.
sort of locals.
You don't see a bucket or anything. There would be no reason for there to be one. The water in that building is supposed to be in that building. No one appears to help you, though you do see underneath one of the benches what would appear to be a melted human hand.
That's gross.
Is it human or melted?
Yes.
Like a little, both. He's a cactus, man. Racism.
Yeah.
Joaquin, what are you up to? It sounds like Nepali's going to help me. I'm a plant and I need to be watered. I'm just
Joaquin's just looking around using his sight to try and find something that he can procure to hopefully help Nepalis put something together to get this water.
You bet. Say again.
Is there a pump anywhere?
There is a pump outside that's used. It's large. It's like an industrial style thing. You use it traditionally to move liquids from one large ship to another. Occasionally, liquid is pumped into a ship, not into a container in a ship. You seal it up just like you did earlier with the bilge and the dust, like that. And then you make this pump and you fasten it to the door. You create a seal and you, like the old-fashioned pipes, you kind of breathe, you siphon gas with them, like that. Only it's much, much larger.
Are there any pipes around or anything? Like, is it possible to fashion sort of a makeshift?
You could. There's enough old salvage laying around. Yeah. The terrain is not particularly interesting, but I mean, if you can use it, it's here. It is the gray market, but it's not. It's like Warehouse 45, is it? The world's messiest department store. Shit's just kind of everywhere.
I'll get to work on that.
Is it an automatic pump or a manual crank pump?
It is a manual crank pump.
I guess I know what my job's going to be.
You bet. Sounds good. So Nepal's roll to fashion something that I guess Jacobite's going to be on standby to start using.
So craft and sharps.
You bet.
So while he was doing that, would it be possible for Joaquin to help him figure out the precise angles that he needs to aim this pump whenever he's squirting the water out to where there's not any water wasted and it hits exactly where it needs to on the tires?
Absolutely. You bet.
Okay.
Absolutely. Do you want to help him do that once like the squirting has begun, or do you want to have input on the machine in order to try and make the machine more accurate? Assuming that Nepalese is willing to help you come up with willing to let you help him build a machine. I don't know if he's got like an ego problem for that.
We're probably good.
Do it.
So we're probably good. Like any help is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume that he'd probably try to find something to help him make it a little more accurate. And then once it's pumping, try to guide whoever's aiming it.
You bet. While he starts building stuff, you scrounge around and you come up with two pieces of metal that fastened it together would make a very narrow nozzle, better than just like a circle, right? Nepalese, let me know what you roll. Ozetta, what are you up to? You got blasted, but the door is open. I mean, you made ground. You just gave it up for a second.
Since I see that they are working on taking care of the fire itself with this machinery, I'm gonna try and go in and see if I can find Trevane in this building or whoever was making that noise.
You bet. The building is on fire, right?
Yeah.
Bits of it fall down around you as you move through it. But you get up to it's essentially a tavern, right? It's more inn than drink hall though. Way more beds than there are alcohol benches. It's 10% bar, 90% bed and breakfast. The food's long ruined, right? The alcohol's burned up, but you do find Trevane at the top of it, pinned underneath a huge heavy wooden beam that is on fire.
Wonderful.
And he looks at you and he goes, "Hey, help me out, would you? What are you staring at? Get me out of here."
I'm not sure how strong I am. Probably not hugely. I don't know what I would do here. Because my first instinct would be to go get Jacobite because he's the strong one. So I
was like, go for me.
I actually might do that. I'm gonna be like, I'll be right back, and I will run out and be like, Jacobite, I found Trevane. He's stuck.
You hear him cussing and squealing in the building like figures.
I will go running.
You bet. You find Trevane just like you remember him. 4.5 feet tall, give or take, wearing what it looks very much like a hazmat suit with a gas mask stopped at the front of it. Guys believes that germs are what gun. So he's been through a whole bunch of shit. He believes that what's eventually going to kill him is germs. No way. Never takes the mask off. Fuck you. Hard pass. No. Right. And he's stuck under a wooden beam that's going to burn him up into nothing. And he's like, oh, great. One who's probably not going to run away because he's made out of wood and doesn't have any fear. You want to get this thing off me?
Yeah, okay. But, maybe don't be such an asshole.
Oh, I'm sorry. My life's work is burning around me. I'll be sure to find time to pour sugar on things. Would you please get this thing off me?
Okay.
I will assist in the little amount that I probably can with my one wiggly arm.
Leverage.
And I'm going for a place that's not on fire of this beam.
I figured. Yeah. Roll for it.
All right.
Extra die though, because Zetta's helping you with her noodle arm.
Sweet.
I got one arm. The other one's noodly. It's all
653.
Nice. You bet. You pry it up off of him, and Zetta pulls him out with no problems. You He-Man your way through it, right? Or E-ship, or
Iron.
oh,
I
yeah,
iron
right.
my way
Iron
through
ship.
it.
Right. Hoorah! Right. During that period of time, no polish. What'd you roll?
531.
You bet. So you build the machine, right? You run out of metal ahead of time, right? Because you rolled a 5. So the machine's going to work, but you're going to take a cut when you go to use it, because you didn't quite finish Joaquin brought you a great part, but you don't quite have enough rivets left to make it happen. So you or Joaquin can roll to hose the place down. Up to you.
I would almost let Joaquin do it because he's got better aiming.
Okay, sounds good. Right. So add on all your dice, but lose the top one.
Okay.
Cut of 1 because the machine's not great.
All right.
No fault of Nepalese. He just doesn't have enough parts to work with.
Gotcha. For this one, I think I'm going to use a different edge.
Okay, sounds good.
Find the edges again.
You see Jacobite and Ozetta pull Trevane out from the burning building, and like normal, he's a crankety old bastard. But cranky old bastard or not, he's going to owe you one.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find the edges again.
Oh, take your time. I'm going to stand here and do this. That was it.
There's 54. Okay.
While he's taking his time, we're bringing Trevane over to the other people.
Other people?
Yeah,
See,
Nepalese and Nepalese.
Oh, I see. You bet.
To the group.
Yeah, right. When you bring him over, he's like, all right, get off. He goes, you could have been more gentle about that. I think I bruised my ass.
that's probably from the pillar that fell on you.
Oh, look. I mean, I guess. So not that I'm complaining, but how? You are going to put out you got a plan for this, right? And he points to the 2 burning buildings.
I think they're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna go help them as soon as you quit talking to me. So are we done?
You can hear the scowl through the mask, but he doesn't actually say anything.
And I stare at him for an additional 2 seconds just to prove a point, and then go.
so
You
I'm
wait
not,
here.
I'm not sure how many of these apply, but the things that could possibly apply, I'm going to use the iron edge. So I kind of keep a cool head in tense situations.
Sounds good.
I have the shoot skill,
Yep.
and then I have the Hawkside and or Deadeye aspects.
So I don't see how come you can't use them all. Feel free to roll up to 66. You are going to roll them all. So cut comes off after you roll the dice.
Okay, gotcha. So I see what you're saying now.
You roll 66, and the highest one you roll, it's like you didn't roll it.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have 2 6s, a 5, 2 3s, and a 2.
Nice. You bet. So I mean, 2 6s, you're down to 1 6, but still, that's a 6. You put the 2 buildings out with no problems.
Okay.
Nepalese machine and your skill come together. Problem solved.
Cool.
Did you roll doubles in there? Did I hear that?
Yes, 2 6s and 2 3s. So I have 2 6s.
Okay. You bet. So one of the 6s falls off because of the cut, but you still have the 2
Okay,
3s.
so the 2 3s, yeah.
So when you put the buildings out, you do that in record time, right?
Mhm.
And Trevane goes and runs off into the second building, the one that Ozetta didn't go get him out of. And he comes back out in a couple of seconds. What will appear to be a bird cage with a tarp over it. And he goes, well, I mean, thanks. And he goes back to the other building like it never happened.
Dude.
No.
Okay.
When you call him on it, he pokes his head out the door and he goes, what? Yeah, you saved my town. Congratulations. What do you want, a medal or something?
Something, or the
Yeah?
next fire is going to be worse.
I want to do some damn business.
Well, why didn't you say so? Come on. I mean,
Cactus
it is.
guy's gonna just finish the job if you know.
Look, I didn't. Look, I'm not the kind of guy. Conversation's not my jam. If you want to do business, we'll do that. If you want to be all cuddly and soft, I'm not your guy. You want to do business or not?
Well, I'm kind of a dumbass, but they want to do business, so I'll just shut up now.
And he goes, I guess you saved the mark. I mean, I guess. I totally had it under control, but
Yeah, you really looked like it underneath that burning beam, screaming, help, get me out.
I've seen kids who are braver than you are.
He goes, what is it that you want there, whippersnapper?
We have a bunch of clover dust we'd like to sell you.
You what?
Uh-huh.
Why didn't you start with that? But
Well,
What do
I
you-
mean, we started with saving you. I figured that was a better
I
place
meant
to
after
be.
that. I meant with the whole SaaS part. Why didn't you start with, hey, got some money stuffs? So I don't know how often you deal with clover dust. I'm not gonna. Here's how this works. I don't know where you got it from. I don't care. I'm not gonna ask. How much you got? What do you want for it?
Do we know how much it's worth?
I think you do, as like a spelunker of fine wares and lost loot.
I would
Um,
say that we want a little bit better than normal price because of what we just saved.
Agreed.
So actually, maybe a little meta.
Okay.
I've got a fee called Shrewd Marketer.
Okay.
Good at haggling.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
So I may kind of step in and say, like, how much is it worth normally? Like, this much would it be worth?
So clover dust, like a pound of clover dust is like a couple $100. And you have, like 50 pounds of the stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna ask.
Let's meta one question meta real quick.
Yeah, please.
Ty or Nepales, sorry. Are we going to sell all of it? Or
Oh, no,
keep some?
I was just about to ask, are you planning on
Okay.
selling all of it?
So before we say the amount, let's
10 pounds.
Say that again.
So we keep about 10 pounds. That should be enough to keep us in bombs for a while.
10 keys.
Yeah. Yeah.
If y'all haven't watched Cocaine Cowboys, it's actually pretty interesting.
Good to
Well,
know.
You said a couple $100. I'm gonna say 300 a pound.
Okay.
I help him with my negotiate skill.
Absolutely. Feel free to roll dice. Joaquin, did you have something you wanted to get in on this before the dice get rolled?
No, he's just going to be kind of leaning up casually against the wall, kind of over in the corner, and he's going to be like cleaning his gun, listening to
Okay.
the conversation,
Sounds good.
but doing it in like a threatening way.
I see. You bet.
I have
And
I have Death Mask,
Okay.
which I can treat conflicts as triumphs when attempting to unnerve or unsettle. So I just want to stand there menacingly in case, they roll just 4s and 5s.
You bet. Sounds good.
That's with the shrewd marker. So I'm using Veils and Outwit.
And then I think you'll
Okay.
get another one from me.
You bet.
Okay, so that's the dice pool of 4.
Yes.
Wow. 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4, 5. But the shrewd marketer, what it does is any conflicts count as triumphs.
Nice. You bet. So you're actually looking at a 6, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
2 6 actually because
Oh right. Yeah.
mine does the same thing. Unless it doesn't stack.
Oh no, you're good. That's 2 6s. Do you have an idea for what the twist is? Maybe.
I'm thinking.
Perhaps the twist is he might come back with money and a new outfit for our ship.
Okay.
Something
Okay.
new to add to the ship, if you guys are cool with that one.
Yeah.
That works.
Andy shits his pants a little.
And
I'm sorry, no.
he shows us what's in the cage.
Yeah, right. He comes back with enough coin to meet your request, right? And he does actually come back with the cage, and he says, "Hey, so you what with the building and the burning and all, you're confident people. You look like you have maybe some talent, maybe it's a one-off, maybe you've got skills, who knows. Anyway, if you have skills, I got work needs doing. So I don't know if you heard about this, but supposedly the mother lode's been found, supposedly, and I don't believe it for a second. However, I do believe that a lot of money is being moved around in that location. And I do happen to have the last coordinate ready. So if you would go scope it out for me, I will not only pay you to go, I will pay you to come back with the information, assuming the information is good. Money now and money after.
And you just want to know if the information's good? That's all you want us to do?
If you want to go in there, and I mean, if the information is good, if the mother lode is actually real, right? And somebody's setting up to take it, stop them.
I do like money.
Oh, good. I have money and a problem. You want to help me or not?
How about you guys? You like money?
I've wanted an excuse to use that line at the table for ages. Because in the beginning of Borderlands 2, Hammerlock says, "Hello, mercenary person. I have money and a problem." And that is perhaps the greatest pitch I've ever heard. Like brilliant.
Yep.
How much are we talking here? What's the payment?
The usual 15%.
20.
20.
Death
One
glare.
time, 20%. You did save the market and all. I wouldn't be able to move anything without it. So fine. But you tell no one that I changed my, you understand? I will have you murdered.
Tell
20%.
anybody what? I don't know what you're talking about.
I like her. She's clearly the smart one.
And you think we would murder them for you? Question mark.
Wait, say again?
I mean, you said you'd have us murdered. Like, why would we would just murder anyone we told anything to anyway? Why would we want to share?
That's fair. Oh, you'll need this. And he hands you the cage.
A peek inside?
You bet. You're looking at a bright purple slug the size of a house cat.
Does it have a name?
I don't know. I call it the sniffer.
The sniffer. Okay.
Also,
will
what
this
the
help
damn
us?
hell is it?
Weren't you listening there? Oh, right. You don't have ears. It's a sniffing slug, hence the name sniffer.
Okay. That answers nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had experience on the Wildsea. A sniffer slug is a little fat, portly purple creature that gets all spindly and wibbly and noisy when it gets near particular kinds of poisonous gas. And you'll want that for an advance warning if you're going to go hunt down those coordinates, which I forgot to give you. Oh wait,
That's
no,
what
I
I was
didn't.
wondering. Like, are these the coordinates?
Yeah, well,
Are they inside the slug?
He hands you a scrap of paper with another number on it and a third set of coordinates, which means that he's given you left, right, and up and down. Those coordinates, you're not sure, but those coordinates put you at the drown, which is way down at the, it's not at the very bottom, but it's close. The only thing below that is the darkness under eaves, which is like, I mean, every terrible story ever, like it's hell. It's the boogeyman incarnate. This is the one right above that.
So to keep with movie references, I've got a bad feeling about this.
You know, I was just playing that PS1 game yesterday. Parts of it have aged very well. Parts of it have not. Like, the
So,
drown, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
The drown is where branches thin and light dies. The trunk of the iron roots loom in the darkness, some hundreds of feet across. There are huge areas of the drown that have never seen the sun.
So, Tyrone, what the hell happened up here?
Oh, yeah, earthwormers. No big deal. I killed it. It's fine.
Jim?
Pardon?
Earthworm Jim?
Yeah, that's funny.
I used to know that guy.
Battle suit in the corner and everything. Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
That's great. Yeah, earthwormers. I gotta get the oil out of it and get the lighthouse up and running again. No worries. I'm getting old. They come through every year. I usually kill them before they cause any problems. Need the oil to make the machine work. My bad. Sorry. Now look, I gave you something to do. Go on, Scram. I got a town to rebuild.
You said something about payment first.
Oh yeah, it's in the slug. Rather, it is the slug. The slug's worth a whole crap load of money. Use it, sell it. I don't care.
Cool.
I'm actually going to is he telling the truth
About a sniffer slug or the rest of it?
about is it really worth 12K?
The sniffer slug? No, he gave you enough coins to be worth that much.
Oh, okay.
The sniffer slug is separate payment for your
For the new
fee
job.
to go scope it out. Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, he handed you. So the most currency in Wildsea is not currency; it's trade. This object for that object, this item for that service. Only the very few people deal in actual money. It's not that money doesn't have value; it's just that it's heavy, and you have to babysit it. So it's the kind of thing that only people who can already babysit it well use. But Gervain has just handed you enough metal bits that you could bury me alive in them.
So writing it down is like $12,000 worth of metal bits. Is
Yeah, like
kind of our money
if
track.
you took a nickel, right, and you rubbed it and rubbed it and rubbed it until it wasn't recognizably a nickel anymore.
Gotcha.
Most bits are left over from they probably are nickels. That they're about nickel size. None of them have any discerning features anymore. They're dented and dinged. Many of them are bent and have holes punched into them and shit. None of them look remotely nickel-y anymore other than the size.
Fair enough. Okay. All
you
right.
can do
Well, I guess we'll go check this out and do what you want us to do.
You bet. It was, oh, excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I didn't really think you were going to say no. I mean, it's the mother lode, and you look like money grubbing, treasure hunting, pirates.
Thank
My
you.
kind of people. Yeah. So are you
Yes,
going to need?
We are
go ahead.
working on our anchor management.
Are you though? Are you? I feel like you're not. I feel like you were gonna whip those dudes right up the top.
Letting the anger out is part of it, right?
I see.
Well, letting the anchor out is part of it.
Speaking of, you
part
hear
of
a blood
anchor
curdling scream
management.
from your ship.
Oh,
Fuck.
Dang it, I wanted to shop.
I'm not saying you can't. It was just one blood curdling scream, not 11.
No, Joaquin says that.
I see.
Well, let's go back. One of them was being a dumbass.
You guys take the slug.
Nope, not me.
You don't want to take the slug? What,
Nope,
you got
not
aversion
me.
to slugs?
Yep.
Can I
No
can
kidding.
I wave walk with a slug in my hand?
I don't see why not. It's
Oh.
a kind of squat, fat bird cage. It doesn't weigh very much.
Okay, sure. I'll just I can take it back then. That's fine. It's
Uh,
one of those I just thought maybe it might throw me off.
You bet. When you tilted the tarp up before, it like shuffled around and kind of squeezed out, like if you squeezed a toothpaste tube and it popped out an eyeball, right? And it kind of, and then
You
you
said
got
it
the tarp in it.
And you said he's purple.
It's purple. Yep. Sniffer slugs. You bet. They're special animals. They get bred by different people. Different colors means they smell different things.
I'm assuming I've heard of these. In
Oh, yeah.
my delving
Yeah,
days.
sniffer slugs are they're really expensive to breed, much like champion show dogs, right? There's dogs and then there's those. And to somebody who just wants to be a dog owner, who cares? But to somebody who's like, a dog show person, your mutt has no value, right? Sniffer slugs are like that. So they're usually on loan. They're not the kind of thing. Way more people need them than can afford to breed them.
Fair enough. You said that based on the color, they can detect different things. Would I
Right.
know what what purple ones detect?
Oh yeah, and anybody who's been like a delver who knows anything gets filled in on those pretty early on, because most jobs have one. They're just leasing it, and under huge penalties if they like kill it or something.
Fair enough.
So purple sniffer slugs smell poisonous gas.
Okay.
They also react very, very loudly to cresonin, and they don't deal well with heat. You cannot get the slug hot. It won't die or anything. Just its functionality won't work anymore. It'll just be a slug, not a sniffer slug.
Okay.
You'll know if it detects something because it will make this obnoxious wailing noise.
Cool.
So
Sounds great.
Don't take it on a stealth mission.
Yeah, right. Don't take it on. Not one where there's poisonous gas. Anyway.
Okay.
When you get back to the ship, everything looks fine, right? Except for Zom, who's up top, just ralphing off the side of the deck.
Oh, food poisoning, man.
He spins around and he's got slip just running down his whole front. And he goes, "Hey, you made it back." And he hurls over the side again. He goes, "So how'd it go? Ship's still here? Yeah, everything's okay. We did good. Paint?
You did good. You all right?
I got some paint in my mouth.
Oh no. Okay. Well,
Don't need
get it out,
paint.
buddy.
Go get a drink of water.
I mean, you're not supposed to eat it. We've learned a lesson.
Lead-based paint by any chance. No, sorry.
Oh man.
All right.
So
So,
how does the ship
remembering
look?
that Vom is not the smart one, right? That don't
The ship
give
looks
toxic
fine.
things to Vom.
They
How'd
thought it
they-
was cool. They put
How'd they
big
do on the
blue-
paint job?
They put big blue flames all over it.
Yes. Yes.
So much for our stealth.
They look very
I'll
much
say it
like
again.
But we don't look like we used to.
You sure don't. You look like a 12-year-old Drew. Like it's bad.
Beautiful. I love it.
So over the course of our journey, Joaquin's going to do his best to try and add bits here and there as we pick things up to make the ship a little stealthier. That's
What is that?
his realm. Like just to kind of, I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out along the way.
Okay, sounds good.
When Jacobite sees the ship,
Uh,
he steps back a little bit and admires it a little bit, and just a little tear,
nice.
just one,
Just fun.
because it's beautiful.
Yeah. And Dom goes, "Hey, did you hear that scream?"
Yeah, that wasn't you.
Oh no, that was me. I was real proud of that.
Why did you scream?
Well, I got pain in my mouth.
Okay. Fair enough.
And he says that with complete clarity and sincerity. Like that's absolutely like what you do when you get paint in your mouth.
Let's save the
Strong
screams
does
for
Vom
things that
look?
matter.
Dom looks pretty wiry, not like big and muscular, but he looks like he's made out of coils, you know. He looks
Maybe.
real dim though. The lights flicker in his head.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
what I
what
was
I
trying
mean?
to figure out is like, are you strong and useful, or are you like, are you like the 3-year-old? We're gonna be like, get that out of your mouth.
So not only does the elevator not go to the top, it probably doesn't even leave the ground floor. Is that what you're trying to say?
I know, like it's like the elevator in the Big Bang Theory, right?
Oh no. Okay.
Okay.
I literally have a note that says Vom ate paint, not the smart one.
That's funny. He didn't say he ate it. He said he got it in his mouth.
Well, I'm kind of guessing.
So the
He
question
didn't say
is,
he didn't eat it.
do we just go ahead and head out, or do we try to go back and with our money that items that we now have, do we try to obtain some things that might help us along the journey, or how do we want to do this?
I mean, we could go and get stuff that will help us on the journey, but I'm guessing he doesn't have a lot here anymore.
That's fair.
So we could probably go find a more legitimate market.
Yeah, would we know about a market somewhere relatively close that is kind of a good hub where we could find everything that we would want?
You bet. You've got two options. Assuming everything you want means I want to buy and sell stuff, not necessarily I want to relax. So the ship, the Wildsea constantly shifts up and down. Sometimes nice. Nice. Sometimes the land masses change. Lands sink back underneath. Right. It's like if the islands in the ocean just moved around. So the exchange of charts on friendly ships is totally normal. Even if you have no other business other than that, you just hand each other, like they're coming from the way you're going. They update your maps. Right. Wildsea is constantly changing. But assuming that the maps on this ship are still accurate, you're looking at two marketplaces not that far from here. The Iron Hull, so-called because it's built out of a failed experiment to build a ship that was so large, any threat to the Wildsea could generate didn't matter, kind of like the Titanic. It didn't work. The good news is it didn't sink. It covers so many branches, it just kind of, but it's too heavy to move. So they essentially built a town out of it instead. And it sells most things, but mostly it specializes in information. And then you have the Deep Hole, which is a silly name because it's at the top of the tree line, where they sell mostly stuff. Well, obviously it's a meeting hole, so there's information to be had. But people come and go fast enough that alliances and friendships aren't really made there. It's like the New York Stock Exchange. Zip, 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 zip.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest to the crew that we go to the Deep Hole. Feels like our best option right now, and then we can gear up. And then if we need more information, by the time we're done there, we can head over to the Iron Hole.
Yeah, that sounds like I would agree with that one.
So
We
you
have
still have a
information. We need more accoutrements.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. So you still have a bunch of your clover dust on the ship, is that right?
Yeah, let's hide that shit.
We only have
That's what I was
3 rounds
waiting
left.
to say is let's find a little hidey hole and
Yeah. So down
maybe
in the
spread it out.
I'll go down there and I'll separate it like out into like little. I assume like it's gonna take us some time to get there, and in the
Oh,
meantime, I'll just build little secret compartments and put like a pound and 10 of them throughout the ship.
Quarter
Nice.
key each.
Sounds good. The Deep Hole, you've got two options there. You can take your all day to get there, right? From here you have two courses of action, neither of which are particularly safe, but they're unsafe for different reasons. A straight line will take you through Pinwolf territory. If Pinwolf is an actual, like they look like wolves of today, except their legs are these long stiletto thingies. They move effortlessly across treetops and can rend through people with no problem. They can also shoot their legs off and promptly grow new ones, like walking dart guns. Yeah, aren't those snuggly? Your other option is the creatures in the picture behind me. They throw things and gather things. They're squirrels, right? They're just man-sized squirrels. Not all of them. Some of them are squirrel-sized squirrels. Still, the faces look like that.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would rather face squirrels than whatever those
Pinwolves?
things are.
In this world, would we rather face squirrels? I mean,
I vote squirrels.
I mean, these seem like dire squirrels plus. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Let's go squirrels.
I
Let's go
mean,
squirrels.
when we had the conversation about how their legs can rip straight through humanoids, yeah, let's chance it with the squirrels.
Yeah. They'll
The ripping through humans is, that sounds entertaining.
Yeah, right. The general idea is that the squirrels they eat nuts and stuff, right? And they needed to be able to keep ripping them open even when the nuts evolved and they got real dense. So the squirrels evolved to go with them. So now their claws will rip through almost anything. Ship hull, people, metal, no worries. Even stone if it's not super dense.
Hmm.
But
Or
but the squirrels have to get outside of melee range. The squirrels can only throw things at you. And that's mostly a talent people teach them when they train them from birth. Whereas pinwolves can absolutely murder you from 80 feet away. But they also make way more noise than the squirrels. So up to you. Squirrels have stealth and the wolves usually don't, but the wolves have range and the squirrels have range, but it's crap. They're going to throw rocks at you. And I mean itty bitty rocks.
I'll say to the group that I'm kind of used to living in the stealth, so I feel like I would maybe have an upper hand on some of their tactics to help get us through. I don't know if that's even a thing, but I feel like I would at least be somewhat of an asset when it comes to the squirrels. With the pinwolves, I don't know how I can help.
I have no idea how they came up with pinwolves. What a terrifying, creepy thought.
Yeah.
Like what the hell? Who came up with that?
As we're sitting here talking, I'm like, yeah, I think the pinwolves would be a better idea as I'm digging through some of the wood trying to find a new piece for my arm.
Yeah. Perforation. I liked it the first time. Let's do that again.
That's so great. I'm all for squirrel tactics.
Yeah. So is that the plan? We're gonna sail through squirrel territory?
Yep.
You bet. Sounds good. Make your piloting roll. But before you do that, is the piloting roll stealthy or swift? And who is piloting?
I feel like at this point we don't have to really necessarily try to be as swift. I think we should probably approach this in a stealthier manner,
Yeah.
especially since they're going to be stealthy.
I would say
Sounds good.
needs to steer than if we're going for stealth.
Okay.
The ship has the property, not the person for this, right?
Right. Yeah. Joaquin's he might know something about sailing a little bit closer, right? But the ship has its own stealth and everything. Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I would be better used as
As a lookout.
spotter to help us avoid situations and help us maneuver a little more stealthily.
Okay. Sounds good. Who's piloting the ship then?
Oh, what the heck? I'll do it.
Sounds good. Roll for it.
I can help do a little bit more lookout as well.
Sounds good.
All right. So
Where'd you
we're
put the slug?
I would have put him down below, just mostly because since it's a little damper down there.
Okay, you bet.
We'll
Assuming
say
that we
we
wouldn't
gave-
need it at this point.
We'll say we gave you the captain's quarters too.
Okay.
Okay. Fancy.
Yeah, so I would definitely keep it in there as well. Trying to take as good care of this thing as I can.
Okay, so we're doing stealth. So that's, I see 2. We've got a rating there. Does anything else contribute to that or to my roll?
So we have 2 stealth on the ship.
Okay, does that?
That's
does
why
that-
she gets the captain's cabin, because she has the crew sheet. That's what it is. Isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you'll roll dice for those.
Okay. And can I use my instinct as the captain to add another,
Yeah, why not?
or as the pilot, I guess I should
know
say,
what you meant.
not the captain. All right, let's give it a whirl. 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
You bet. You sail full speed ahead, right? Straight into squirrel territory. And as you move through it, while you chose to go, swiftly, Joaquin and Ozetta have offered to help scout. It's a good thing Ozetta put the slug below decks, because it starts to squeal, this obnoxious like police siren, but if it was covered in spit sound. The good news is below decks, you hear it because you're on the ship, but the audio probably doesn't travel that far away from the ship, except to a creature that had really good hearing anyway.
That
Bad-
means there's poison.
Right. And I will see you in a week.
Oh, God. That is one way to do it.
This was fun.
It's
Yeah.
it's always an ending like that. I
Yeah.
love it.
Works
I
for
love it.
TV. Why not?
Absolutely.
Keep them
I
coming.
love it.
back.
Hey, thanks. Before I close this down, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, angry, vicious diatribes?
Yeah.
No,
This is great.
Oh, good.
This is
this has
fantastic.
turned out to be a little easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be extremely complicated, and it's more straightforward than it appears when you read through it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, lots of systems are like that. Yeah, once cut tags. We didn't do a lot of tags. Sometimes you'll pick up stuff. They make a big deal out of tags in the book. What they mean is adverbs, right? A thing. So it's a sword, right? But is it a sharp sword or a blunt sword? Is it a titanium sword or a steel sword? That's an adverb, right?
Some sort of modifier, yeah.
Right, exactly. Right. But yeah, tags, cut, dice pool, tracks. That's it. That's the whole system.
Piece of